when you hear. These leaders are very sick.
Good evening, everyone. I'm This tragedy strikes the LAPD. The coronavirus has taken the life of an officer. He had been fighting for his life since May. He was live outside St. John's Hospital in Santa Monica, where the officer lost his life.
From this day forward, a new vision will govern our land. From this day forward, it's going to be America first. America first. And only America first. And I say, really, you know what I am? I'm a nationalist, okay? I'm a nationalist.
I'm guessing here. I'm halfway set up. Let's see. Let's mini. Why are they both Josh? Oh, there's our resident boomer for the day. There's that. What is going on here? Give me this camera. Boom, got it. Yeah, there we go. There we go. Ladies and gentlemen, chat, how are we doing today? Josh is late. He is in the chat. If you want to tell him, hey, please go ahead and do that. I am really dark. I'll fix that in a second. Got a little bit of a show for you today. The thumbnail is AI boomers, and we are going to be bashing on both of them. Also, we're going to have a little bit of a discussion on probably Tim Pool, Pierce Morgan, and what's been going on with that. Obviously, everything that's just generally in the news. This is Outside the Overton. We're covering any kind of movement in the Overton window as we go through this. Sometimes, sometimes we look out and we see we're making a lot of progress here. We're making a lot of progress, and then you get something like the election in Florida, where Byron Donalds has Donald Trump's endorsement. He's looking to come on the back of the Ron DeSantis and take over Florida from there. We're going to take a look at just one of Byron Donalds' positions, and before Josh gets here, kind of talk about that real quick. But there is a guy called, his name's Fishback, running for Florida. Very American first, like what I'm hearing from him. He doesn't have a ton of polling yet, but there is time. We got a little bit of time. Hopefully somebody can run like that in Ohio. Give me somebody in Ohio that's like Fishback, because, well, we have Byron Donalds in Florida. We have Vivek in Ohio. I mean, these people we have Nancy Mace in South Carolina. These people don't need to be leading anything, much less entire territories within the United States. They need to go work on the assembly line somewhere. Dr. Tetanus with the test. Good. Now send some more money. That being said, I appreciate it. I'm not sure what we're testing here. Let me go ahead and jump into it. Go ahead, help us fund Nav. We very much appreciate it. A lot of members in the chat today. We appreciate that. Also, shout out. Ooh, I'm blanking. Who gifted five memberships the other day? I think it was Win Dixie. Was it Win Dixie? Shout out Win Dixie on the no, Galaxy, dog. I got Cosmic over here. Ugh. Dude, I got all the Celsius. I'm a Celsius collector. Pepsi sponsor. Pepsi sponsors. No, thank you for the 5. But yes, definitely had 5 super chats, 5 memberships gifted the other day. We appreciate that. And might get a little personal today. Might get a little personal on the back end. We're going to dive into that a little later on. somebody that's typically in our chat here. He's going to be a little bit featured. He called into the radio show. It's going to be a little bit of radio show talk today, because we want to get a feel of what's actually out there, the actual boomers, right? We're going to be talking about Glenn Beck and his creation of this AI and shoving the founder's works into an AI and then outputting it. We're going to take a look at that. Listen, we need to stop with the necromancy, dude. Please stop with the necromancy. It's not going to happen, okay? It's not going to happen. And yeah, it's abysmal. We're going to get into that in a second. I mean, they're going to use this to weaponize the founders against us, right? The boomers are looking for a way into the younger generation. How do we take our thought process, inject it into the younger generation without having to hear anything they want to say, without thinking about anything they're having to deal with? Will leverage the founders against them in every way possible. Oh, one shot AI. AI is going to destroy us, but let's use that. Let's weaponize AI against the younger generation, against Gen Z, as we don't listen to them and tell them we feel them the whole way. I feel you, but you know what you're saying, it sounds entitled. It's just dismissive. It's all dismissive. Nobody actually cares. Like I said, memberships are open. Super chats are open. We appreciate that. Josh, can you balance me a little bit? My lens is like, I feel like I'm on a roller coaster over here or something.
Everyone at home heard? Like this way?
No, the other way. A little more. Yeah, right. Well, it's maybe too much. I don't know. I feel like I'm falling over. Chad, I feel like I'm falling over looking at myself. Put it back. Just put it back. Just put it back. But yeah, Josh just jumped in. We're gonna dive into that a little bit.
Stuff over here.
Turn the red. Oh, I was gonna decorate for Christmas, but yeah.
Oh well.
Don't care that much, Chad. I don't care that much.
You
Yeah,
are looking what? What's with the green suits today?
Oh, you got green on too?
I mean, not quite as green as you, but it's green for sure. See, I was gonna say, you know, I got this jacket from Goodwill.
Yeah.
And it's green,
I need
and it
to
made me
rearrange it
late,
too.
so it's probably donated by a black guy. And you know, the magic is in the clothes, so they say. But excuse doesn't work. You got a green suit too. What's up, everybody?
All right.
Glad to be here.
Josh is gonna talk for a half a second. I'm gonna get resituated. Let me play this clip of, I guess we can jump into it. That'll shield everything. Like the stream, share the stream. Gonna have a good discussion today. I kind of want to draw lines too. Like I said, we got the boomers, but I want to draw lines. A lot of this is kind of diving into taking a page out of the factions book, especially the stream I did yesterday with Atlas Thug. Win Dixie with the gifted again. What's that, 10? Let's go, dude. Everybody gets a membership. You get a membership. I appreciate it.
Nav will be a big success because of Win Dixie. Thank you.
Why is everything red? You look red too.
I was doing cardio. Trying to get over here. First time this year.
Let's take a look at, hopefully I don't dox anything here. Dude, I feel, how long has it been since we've done outside the Overton?
At least 2 weeks.
Been a hot minute, dude.
At least 2 weeks. Yeah, because we were gone last week. Yeah, we did the week before. It's just, I guess when you go from doing it 5 days a week to then taking a 2-week hiatus, it just feels like an eternity. I'm sure you feel the same way. And by the way, so this is the first time I've been able to kind of watch the intro, you know, like from the viewer's perspective, I guess, like instead of here in the studio. You guys are very lucky. This is a very well-made show. Thank you to Frank the Tank for the intro, Zeb for the studio, and me, obviously, for the talent. But where are we going now, Zeb? What we got here? Byron?
I just want to start this off on a light foot here. Real light foot.
Nice.
Not exactly, but this is Byron Donalds. Like I said, I mentioned Vivek in Ohio, and we putting a lot of pressure on him. I don't know how much we are, but just general, we are putting a lot of pressure on him and the Republican Party in Ohio. The Republican Party in Florida needs to have a lot of pressure put on them too. This is the Trump endorsed, again, Vivek, Trump endorsed candidate for replacing Ron DeSantis in Florida. Ron DeSantis is coming up on a term limit. He's not going to be able to run again. And so now they're running someone like Byron Donalds that's been in Congress, and this is what he has to say.
A lot of these different visa programs do all that work. Do it, get it done. And I think the American people, whether you're liberal or conservative, will say, okay, now that our immigration system is sound and modernized and we've secured our country, now let's take a look at the people who are here illegally. And I think the American people, we're great people. We're a good people. We're a beneficent people. And with those people who are here working hard, doing those things that they should be doing as just as good neighbors and good people, we would make them and put them on this pathway to citizenship. But I think the pathway to actually fixing immigration in our country is possible, but we have to have honest conversations with ourselves. We got to have honest brokers, frankly, on both sides of the aisle, because we can come to a solution that actually respects citizenship in our country and actually creates a stable legal immigration process in our country. Modernize a lot of these different visa programs, do all that work, do it, get it done. And I think the American people, whether you're liberal or conservative, sound and modernized, and we've secured our country. Now let's take a look at the people
They're
who
zoomed
are
in on him
here
too much.
illegally. And I think the American people, we're
was a joke,
great
Seth.
people. We're a good people. We're a beneficent people. And with those people who are here working hard, doing those things that they should be doing as just as good neighbors and good people, we would make them and put them on this pathway to citizenship. But I think the pathway to actually fixing immigration
a good
in our
ventriloquist.
country is possible. But we have to have honest conversations with ourselves. We got to have honest brokers, frankly, on both sides of the aisle, because we can come to a solution that actually respects citizenship in our country and actually creates a stable legal immigration process in our country. Modernize a lot of these different visa programs, do all
right, basically, you heard what he said. I mean, you might not have been able to see it. Just imagine his mouth was moving the whole time. Now let's take a look at the people who are here illegally. I think the American people, we are a beneficent people. Excuse me, I choked up on some saliva there. We would put them on a pathway to citizenship. This guy is talking about mass amnesty in Florida. Have we not already had these conversations, Josh? Have we not already had, I don't know if anybody remembers Twitter last year around December 25th specifically, we had mass, we can kind of dive into this because I think we're going to get something else again this year. We had like mass fighting over H-1B and the position of amnesty and visas and immigration, legal and illegal, on Christmas Day of last year.
Yeah, thought they could slip that one past the goalie.
They tried to. I think it was intentional. I think Christmas Day was intentional.
Yeah.
It was led by Vivek and it was led by Elon Musk. And why was it intentional? Well, you're going to have your white Christians celebrating Christmas with their families. So they're not going to be on Twitter to defend their position. And so it's an artificial argument that's being made, knowing that the retort is going to be disproportionate to the feeling across the board from people. But I don't know. We're gonna have some again this year, but this is what you have running in Florida, Josh. Boom. Let me fix you.
Oh, Byron.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What you have running in Florida? I mean, mass amnesty. It lost at the ballot.
This is like one of those things where I genuinely don't understand how it gets to this point. The level of disconnect. Well, I hesitate to even say that is that. It's not that Byron is out of touch. It is that this is what the conservative party is trying to establish. We'll get into this later today, but this was a debate I was having at my job where it's like, these people are malicious, and the attention span that generally people have is so stupid. And this is what they can't accept, that the problem we have is with immigration is the fact that they're illegal. Yeah. The Republicans that pretend what we care about when it comes to immigration is, oh, we're fine with having 10 million legals cross the border in 4 years. No, we don't want brown people here. We don't want non-English speakers here. It is that simple.
Yeah, it is quite literally that simple. I'm trying to see why is everything dark? Are the lights not on? I don't know. We're done. Here's our resident boomer. Do you have anything to say for yourself? I mean, you're basically
He's
the
also
Republican.
tech support.
He's also tech support, apparently. Yes. Send super chats so we can fix this thing. So we can pay somebody that actually knows what they're doing. But this is the problem: is this is the Republican Party. Byron Donalds isn't a boomer, but he is the embodiment of the boomer that is the spirit of the Republican Party. There is no movement that's going to happen to the right. We're here on outside the Overton. We're talking about the Overton window. There is no movement that's going to happen if we keep putting people like Byron Donalds, Vivek. There is no winning to be had. A Republican winning in Florida, if his last name is Donalds and his first name is Byron, is an L. That's a loss. I mean, I'm not saying vote for the Democrat, but at this point, what's the difference?
Yeah, man, that's that's the thing is, like, I don't know how much we'll get into the Piers Morgan, Nick Fuentes thing today. We have to save some of that for Groyper Report, obviously, but this whole thing, it just goes to show you how out of touch the powers that be are. And in a certain sense, I have like you guys, I'm sure most of you are very, very active on Twitter and henceforth are very active in our circles. What is going on with the younger people? What is going on with the nationalist crowd? I work at a conservative political news talk radio station. The employees and all of the listeners are boomers. And it's almost paradoxically, it is almost like I have a direct line of sight towards the levers of power because all the people in power are boomers and think the exact same way. All of the people in conservative radio get all their information from the same place. They think they're smart for reading the Washington Post, no shade. In case you're watching, you know who you are. But the point being is, like, I'll be specific here. We had a caller, the host about a week ago, he talked about how there's a problem in Minnesota when you import all these Somali immigrants. And the problem with these Somali immigrants is that they are primitive. Now, race realism debate aside, he's willing to concede that these Somalian immigrants, for one reason or another, whether it's DNA, whether it's cultural, are primitive. Every single caller after that statement called in to say one of two things. One being he's racist, and the other being he's not racist. None of it addressed the fact that we have primitive people, by his own admission, in Minnesota. It is about defending whether this is what the boomer worships, is civil rights, is not being perceived as racist. This delusional mentality that we're all one race, the human race. God loves us all the same. Yes, we know this. We know this to be the case. Somalians could never build the society that we have built. It is as simple as that. And we don't want them here for that reason.
Correct.
And they rape.
Well, we are all the same under God, right? We're all human. We all have inherent value, but we are not all the same under the state. We are not all the same under the law. They couldn't build what we've built. They couldn't build the laws that we have. They can't even abide by the laws that we have, much less conceptualize them into text, right? I mean, they didn't even have a written language before we gave it to them. This is the thing. And you expect them to be able to live in a civilized society. It's just not possible. And so we're going to dive into a lot of that today. Like Josh said, what did you say?
I'm sorry, connecting rabbi holes. I don't know if it's what he meant, but wrapped in Yemen Somali flag blankets. I don't know if he meant it, but I thought the tuberculosis blankets. I mean, if that's what he meant, that's a funny joke.
Oh, that's something I was thinking about the other day, because we've been sick for a couple of weeks. Is that all of this stuff that's coming over here, all these people that are coming over here? I mean, you could, if you want to make the argument about we committed a genocide against the Native Americans back in the 1400s, it's like, okay, they're committing a genocide against us, dude. It's one and the same. You can't, but they want to hold a double standard across the board. You can't have one argument and the other argument at the same time. It just it's they're contradictory. They're mutually exclusive. or they're one and the same. I don't even know what I'm saying right now. I'm trying to get this thing
it's
set up.
kind of the point where it's like, okay, if it were we stole the land from the Indians and now the native Indians were stealing it back, that'd be one thing. But it's Indian Indians, Chinese, Somalis, Jews, Nigerians, and just all these immigrants. So think about it, like it is at its core an anti-white movement. Because it's not about fairness. You know, with the native Indians, would they be okay with, oh, well, the white people stole our land, but I guess when the Somalis take it from them, it's okay. They would still think of it as stolen land, but that's the point. What we hear from up top is, oh, well, it evens out. 6-7. Yeah. So
But to even
Ruined.
bring it full circle is once they come over here, they leverage the system. It's mass fraud. And then you have people like Byron Donalds, the Republican Party, that wants to grant mass amnesty. But what would I expect? I mean, what would you expect? The party of Reagan granting mass amnesty? Like, that's so outlandish, isn't it, Josh?
Yeah.
Like, what would you expect? These people that worship at the feet of Reagan granting mass amnesty. I mean, that Reagan's known for his amnesty. So for us to expect the people that worship Reagan to grant mass amnesty, that's not something out of nowhere. I mean, the Republican Party has to be redefined entirely from the ground up. That's the only way forward. Otherwise, we're just running in a circle. And kind of like I went over the other day with the left-right thing. The DNC is in a weakened position to where it can be over the next decade or so, commandeered. And I think that's what's going to happen if we can't gain control of the Republican Party now. But again, this is what you have. Somebody mentioned Trump. This is what Trump's doing. You have 600,000 Chinese student visas coming over here. You have granting all of these H-1Bs. Vivek's running on endless H-1Bs. Vivek is literally running on infinite H-1B visas. And Donald Trump is endorsing that. And that's what we're getting. Is so again, it boils down to legally legal. Does it matter? No, it doesn't, because, well, at the end of the day, they're not American, and they would never will be American.
So not really playing devil's advocate, because that is what he wants, even if he's not stating it. But
no, he stated it outright.
He actually has said that.
Yes.
Well, there you go.
I'll find it and we'll post it. Or I'll pull it up here. If I can get this.
Regardless, that's absolutely what he wants. Yeah, we got a little problem with that TV.
But see, that's not even right. I don't know what's happening right now. I might not be able to. Might have to call Audible. Josh.
Yes.
Say things.
Things.
Give us a rundown on.
Excuse me. I realized I left the timesheet in the car. I'll have to go grab that at some point when you can.
Okay, go ahead.
Maybe when you can. And then like right now?
No.
Yeah. Okay. But okay, so we want to do this. See, it's not there. You'll have to pull up your email.
We can go over yesterday though. Or you pull up email?
Yeah, we can, but I don't have time codes for that.
Okay. I can do email.
Email. So, what we're going to be talking about today, do we want to start with this, or do we want to go to the Glenn Beck thing?
AI,
but you can't do the Glenn Beck thing first because we're having technical difficulties.
Always.
So sorry. But so a little bit of a rundown. For most of you probably know by now.
I could do the Glenn Beck. Let me try it this way. Let me try it this way.
Do the Glenn Beck thing.
There's always another way, chat. There's always another way.
Okay.
Let me pull up. You go ahead.
Timesheet. All right. Sounds Jewish, says Markets and Moto. It is Jewish. Speaking of Jewish and my job, I work for a small radio company. The CEOs are Jewish. And get this. So Christmas is on a Thursday this year, and they don't give us off Christmas Eve. But typically, if last year, because it was a leap year, Christmas was on a Tuesday. So they gave us off Monday. They gave us off Christmas Eve because Christmas Eve was on a Monday. It's like July 4th. If July 4th is on a Thursday, they'll give us off the Friday. Why? Well, I don't want to give too much away, but had kind of a bad year. Not a terrible year, but a bad year. And there was some tension between our office and the guys upstairs. And so they've given us off Christmas, but not Christmas Eve and not the day after. So now all of the employees of my job, if they're traveling, can't do that now because you got to be at work on Friday. thought that was kind of funny. I don't know if this. I was just about to say, Zeb, if they see this, I'm going to be in trouble. But if they see half the things we talk about, I'd be in trouble. But that just goes to show they don't watch this. So Marcus Emoto says, sounds like Satan. Sounds like a synagogue of Satan. Boo Radley says, Josh is stealing overtime hours. Correction, I am colonizing overtime hours. That's the difference. How we doing over there, Zeb? We're making it. Oh, Merry Christmas, by the way, everybody. Jesus is the reason for the season. Don't forget it. And, like Christmas 2 weeks away, I feel like the problem is it doesn't snow or even really get cold down here in South Carolina. So it doesn't really, at least for me, because I grew up a little bit north of here, it doesn't really feel like Christmas during Christmas. But that's just me. Zeb, you probably feel right at home because you're from here.
AI, listen.
And we got Glenjamin Beckwell.
I think we're good. Make it work. We'll make it work, chat. We'll make it work.
While you play this, I'm going to go grab the time codes.
All right. I'm going to probably stop it every once in a while.
Yeah.
All right. We fixed it on the fly. It happens. It happens. Chat, thank y'all for stopping by. Thank you for, I know a lot of you were in the chat the other day when I was with Atlas. I thought it was a solid stream. I mean, it was off the dome. It was off the cuff. It wasn't clean. It wasn't exactly pretty, but I think we had a really good time. I think I got my point across multiple times. Atlas was a fantastic co-host. Might replace Josh. Get Atlas. We'll get Atlas to move down here. We'll just replace Josh. We'll kick him off. Just kidding. We're not gonna do that. We're not gonna do that. But there is always a free seat here. We can always kick the boomer off. We can always kick the boomer off for whatever we have going on. But what we're gonna dive into here in a second is Glenn Beck has teased building this founders AI where he goes through and he uploads all of the documents of the founders and puts them into an AI because the boomer and the mind of the boomer gets one-shotted with AI, dude. They believe that AI is God and anything the AI says is true. This is why, and we're going to get into this with Pete Hegseth here in a second too. And they're implementing the Google Gemini AI into the Department of Defense or Department of War. And so this is what we have. This is, I don't know if you recall, not too long ago, there was a deal that the State Department had with Google and YouTube. And we talked about that. It was like $45 billion or something crazy. And my numbers might be off. Don't quote me on that. But that was part of the deal. And this is what we're having is they're implementing AI into governmental systems. This is just a influx of things like Palantir, Gemini, Google, all into governmental systems. And at some point here in the near future, the corporate world, the Silicon Valley world is going to be indistinguishable from Washington, D.C. It's inevitable. That's what's going to happen. But I guess before we dive onto that, we probably should cover that first, actually. We'll cover that first, and then we'll get to the Glenn Beck, because the Glenn Beck AI thing bleeds into what we're having to do with what we're going to go through on, I need to download that, what we're going to have to go through on the boomer stuff and kind of where the Overton window is at the base level, the local, our local, but it's going to be your local too, just because, the world doesn't operate in, were you listening?
Yes.
Chat, you think he heard me?
Talking about how Palantir.
Yeah, okay,
is coming in.
He didn't get it. He didn't hear it. All right, we're good.
What I missed?
We missed it. He missed it, Chat. We're good.
Great.
No, I was
telling
Chat we're gonna replace you with Atlas whenever he moves down here.
with Tim. Oh, with Atlas.
But yeah, so we're gonna knock out Pete Hegseth first. Let's do that, and then we're gonna
His hair's turning gray.
the founders AI is gonna launch us into the boomer hate. The boomer hate. Every boomer. Every single one. We're gonna make this work.
The future of American warfare is here.
All right. Yeah, just to preface, today we're unleashing Gen AI. AI.mil. Gemini. This platform puts the world's most powerful frontier AI models directly into the hands of every American warrior. We will continue to aggressively field the world's best technology to make our fighting force more lethal than ever before, and all American made.
All right, buddy.
American made, Josh?
Doubt.
Is Gemini American made?
No. Isn't that like, I mean,
That's Google's AI.
Okay, so Indian made. Yeah. Explains why
The
it
future of
sucks.
American warfare is here, and it's spelled AI. As technologies advance, so do our adversaries. But here at the War Department, we are not sitting idly by. Under the leadership of President Trump, America will lead the charge on this technological transformation by revolutionizing the way we win. And that's why today we are unleashing GenAI.mil. This platform puts the world's most powerful frontier AI models, starting with Google Gemini, directly into the hands of every American warrior. At the click of a button, AI models on GenAI can be utilized to conduct deep research, format documents, and even analyze video or imagery at unprecedented speed. Building on the great work of Undersecretary Emil Michael and his team, we will continue to aggressively field the world's best technology to make our fighting force more lethal than ever before. And all of it is American-made. The possibilities with AI are endless. Now, let's get to work.
Oh, baby. Oh, baby.
Listen, I'm not opposed to utilizing tools for bettering the government, the military, whatever, but to act like you're doing something astonishing here that everybody just doesn't already have access to is crazy to me. The funding that this is going to take is crazy to me. They've already granted, we talked about this before, the funding that the government is giving to YouTube and Google. That's what this is. It's just an influx. It's, as I mentioned a second ago, the Palantir, the Google, the YouTubes, the X. This is Elon. Everything Silicon Valley is bleeding into Washington D.C. and then it's going to be indistinguishable here in the next few years.
Well, I mean, obviously, like we had talked about this before, how Doge has essentially just been a Trojan horse for Palantir, a Trojan horse for Silicon Valley. And as evident by, what's his name, Mark Zuckerberg, Elon Musk being present at the inauguration, like a deal was made. They're winning. We are losing. And you know, and we'll get into it here in a sec, but you know who's driving it forward? Like you said, well, I was gone. I heard that part. The boomers. They are fascinated by technology that they don't understand, but they also refuse to try and understand it. This is a discussion I had with somebody else, which is like, you know, they talk about how your phone, it's like it knows what I'm thinking. How does it do that? It's actually not that complicated. It's you have a certain set of markers that are established based on your buying habits. It tracks those trends and sees what other people that buy the same things look at, and then it just sends you that. You're just thinking like all those same other people. But to them it's witchcraft, it's voodoo. And you know, it literally is like a sort of Fallout. They have this like Fallout sci-fi sense of the future. And it is kind of funny. We're getting into Glenn Beck here in a second.
Yeah.
But the Glenn Beck thing is so funny to me because Glenn Beck pounds and stomps his feet all the live long day, talking about God, talking about Jesus, and how the Jews are God's chosen people. Glenn Beck knows everything there is to know about the Bible. Yet I believe it's Samuel. Is it Samuel who tries to communicate with Solomon through a oracle, through the thing? Now he is apparently communicating with the dead through technology rather than magic. I just thought that was kind of a interesting little connection there. You know, Glenn Beck is gonna finger wag his hand in our face, talking about Christianity and what is right, what is moral, what God would want. Yet he's going to in whatever way he possibly can, resurrect George Washington to now tell us why we should support Israel, and why unlimited H-1B visas is what Christ would want for America.
Yeah, we're going to keep talking about this AI real quick. I'm looking for something for a second. I want to show you. It's the guy that, here it goes. I found it. Perfect. I'm going to send this. This is a guy that was at Walmart. I don't know if you saw this, but he said he paid with cash. He accidentally left his phone and his AirPods wherever they were. He paid cash at Walmart, and he got an email from Walmart. Basically, here, I will play it. Let's take a look at it. Where did I send it myself? Yes. Let's see what this guy's got to say real quick.
I got an email from them this afternoon that says, hey, can you rate this product that you purchased recently? And I did purchase that product recently from Walmart. I bought it in cash, right? I walked to the electronics section and bought a USB charging cable with cash and then walked out. And I know that the first, you've already started typing. It's the Walmart app on your phone, you moron. That is a fair assumption. I do not have the Walmart app on my phone. I have never had the Walmart app on my phone. And further, I did not have my phone with me on this trip. Here's how I know I didn't have my phone with me on this trip. I remember specifically talking to the employee in the back at the electronics section and trying to explain specifically which USB connector I was looking for. And I couldn't explain it well. And so I tried to pull my phone out to show the gentleman what I was looking for, and I didn't have my phone on me. And so I had to continue my game of terrible charades and torture this poor guy until he finally was like, well, look, here's what we've got. And then I was able to find what I needed. But the point being, my phone was not on my person. I don't think I even had my headphones on my person. I didn't have any electronic devices on me. So how does Walmart know what I purchased in cash?
That's a solid question. How did Walmart know? And this is, I bring this up because we're talking about amnesty, we're talking about illegals, and wrapped in that is this idea that a lot of boomers and even some people on our side say, well, it's not practical to deport all of them. It's not practical. I feel like J6 and the hunting down of all of the January 6ers, this instance right here, the idea that you have to have an ID to do anything, facial recognition is out there, to act like we can't just round these people up in the hundreds of thousands, if not millions on a weekly, monthly basis, I think is insane to me. To act like we can't do that is crazy. Now we're implementing Google AI at the federal level, and they're using it as this basis to say, hey, we're going to give our war fighters this AI. You think that's what it's going to be used for, Josh? To help with presentations, to help with building out these reports. Do you think that's what it's going to be used for? Obviously not. Obviously, it's going to be built out for missiles, drone warfare, facial recognition, whatever else kind of mosquito bombs they think they can think of. That's what it's going to be used for.
You saw that too? That was crazy.
They've been working on mosquito bombs for so long. Bill Gates got them under his thumb, dog.
Maybe we should just like reincarnate him as a plague and just wipe us all out. And was that him who said that? I want to be reincarnated as a plague. Maybe it was. I'm thinking of somebody else.
I think it is. I think it was, or it was one. It was either him.
He was one of those guys.
They're all the same. They're all the same. Same. One Hydra, different heads.
Well, and I mean, that's the thing is they want the illegals here.
Yeah.
Even to the American elite, America is an economic zone. The boomers, and our elites only care about money.
Well, they're not American. They are pure capitalists, and pure capitalists are globalists. They are not. They aren't American. They are citizens of the world. If they're the ones espousing that, then they are that thing, and they aren't American. I think if you deny that a nationhood exists, you ought not be a part of that nation.
Yep. That's what Nick had brought this up on his show from last night. I just saw it on the drive over here. He was talking about his hats, the America First hats, and he said they're made in America, they're high quality, but they were an absolute pain in the ass to get done. Everything in China, we'd have a billion of these things if we made them in China, and they'd be here tomorrow. But you got to support America, and that's the thing. Is to these people, true story by the way, I will buy a home buy a 4-bedroom home in a perfectly good residential area, and I will carve it up into a quadplex. I will turn this 4-bedroom home into a quadplex where now its little 2-car driveway is full of cars, and now this neighborhood is full of, basically low income people because each house is being bought up and converted into its own apartment complex. This is something that is going on here. And this is what these people do. And on a grand scale, they're carving up our country, giving it away to cheap foreigners, and we're going to be left flipping the bill because we are the taxpayer.
I mean, speaking on that, what happened to banning China from buying farmland? Is that just not on the table anymore?
Go China. It's Zeb. What are you talking about?
Just
You
brush
sound
it on
ridiculous.
It's like these things come up.
Excuse me.
And they're like, fantastic. Let's do that. And then something else happens, and nothing ever happens. It's just nothing happens. Nothing ever happens.
Zeb, I basically wrote a declaration recently saying that I hate brown people. Brown people are stupid, and they have lipo heads, and they're ugly. Convenient timing. Yes, I know my poll numbers are down, and we're not going to do anything about it. But it's pretty cool, right? You guys like that kind of stuff?
6 billion Chinese students coming to a neighborhood near you.
Yeah. Well, you get the 6 billion Chinese, you get the 6 billion Indians, you get the 6 billion sub-Saharan Africans. At some point, will the boomer ever admit that you can't just replace the population and expect America to be America? Yeah, I really want to get this founders AI that Glenn Beck's working on and play with it, dude. I want to see how bad they butcher these guys, because at the end of the day, Glenn Beck and his contemporaries would very much be far, far to the left of even Jefferson. And I give Jefferson hate for being an Enlightenment liberal. These people would be they would burn these guys at the stake, Josh. The founders, like, they want to say, "Oh, I've read the Federalist Papers. I've read this. I've read that." Dude, they fought wars for less.
The founders would probably be disappointed in us. Let alone
Josh is a moderate
conservatives. I don't know what you're talking about. I say, bring back the burn pits.
Josh is
a lot of
dude. I called Woman Propaganda and Chud, the builder of moderates, the other day.
I saw that.
Yes, they did not like that. They did not like that.
I saw that.
I appreciate it. Let's go. Get more extreme. Get more extreme, guys. But no, in all seriousness, I think the founders would be very, very much even to the right of probably your most, they would be further to the right of Tucker Carlson. And that is the quintessential far right for his generation.
You know what? I'm thinking about this now that you said that, talking about how you called Woman Propaganda and Chud moderates. I almost feel like that's
in jest.
No. Yeah. I know that. But thinking about that is, they understandably were like, no, because we are extremists on this side by the standard. But You know what the funny thing is it is something like that. We've talked about this before, how a big part of the reason we try to dissect why leftists think this way. And it's like, oh, they want to be revolutionaries like back in Martin Luther King Jr.'s days. But now everything's good and we don't need to be. It's teaching everyone that they are on the outs. They are the revolutionaries. These centrist people, like Tucker Carlson, for example, maybe not him. Maybe he's a bad example because he's in the CIA. But you know what I'm talking about? These centrist types that they get off. They they jerk it. They get off basically on saying, I'm willing to hear the other side. I'm willing to have the conversation. You know what I mean? And everyone thinks that they are a revolutionary when they're just carrying the torch from Ronald Reagan to the modern age.
I mean, I would even say before Ronald Reagan. I mean,
think about it. Chuck thinks he's a revolutionary. Think about that.
I mean,
maybe that's not the best word, but you get what I'm saying.
Yeah, they think they're trying to. They're the far right, trying to move the needle to the right, and they are very much at an absolute minimum in the last 250 years. If we're going back to 1920, this is going to come up again in a second. This is 1920s. If we're using that as the foundation, the baseline, they would be. I wouldn't call them radical liberals, but they would be they would be extremely liberal comparative to the positions of the time. I'm talking about socially. I'm talking about policy wise. I'm not talking about economics. Nobody is actually economically left. Nobody's economically left. They don't exist. This is something that really bothered me a while back, Josh, is that people would say, yeah, I'm on the right. I'm socially left, but I'm fiscally conservative, and I'm a conservative. It's like, no, the fuck you ain't. It's like nobody is fiscally liberal. Those people don't exist.
To them, what they mean by fiscally liberal is, I'm not a
not
I'm a socialist. Yeah, exactly.
I wouldn't even say socialist. I would say communist to their core. But yeah, I mean, I would say socialist is pretty centrist. But even if you push them, they would be in many cases they would be even to the left on the social issues. The social issues meaning socialist issues.
Mm-hmm.
HUD, Section 8, Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid. Yeah. All the way down. I mean, they like socialist policies. Until you take it away. Everybody loves socialism until you start taking their socialism away. All right, before we get to the Glenn Beck AI, let me knock out a couple of super chats. Just to remind you, super chats are open. Please support NAV. Memberships are open too. Shout out Win Dixie carrying chat on his back. Memberships are open. One more week and you will pick up if you were day one member, you will pick up a bronze coin, and then we'll go to silver, gold. I think it's outright the blue one. Anyway. Test Cosmic Celsius, yes. Shout out Sammy. Josh had to go back and get his tiny hat. I'm assuming you were we were a little bit late. Oh, yeah, it's down there in the corner.
It calls me. It's like Venom in Spider-Man.
Dude, I'm so surprised we haven't gotten in trouble for that yet. The video still pops up every once in a while. I sent it to you yesterday.
Yeah.
It still pops up every once in a while. So, dude, people love that Charlie Kirk video.
It's funny because all of the ones I see that you send me are people glazing Charlie's response.
Yeah.
That's funny, dude. I forget the guy's name. He's this guy who looks really Jewish, like more Jewish than me, but he is like he's like racist. He's he calls out the Jews. I forget his name though, but he wore this one. It was like this exact yarmulke.
Really?
And I was like, put that down. The Jew stole my yarmulke.
Dude, where's he at? Let's get a hold of him. I gotta
find that guy.
Be surrounded by Jews. Jews to the left of me, Jews to the right. That'd be funny, dude. That would be a good stream.
Speaking of which,
only stream. Members only stream.
Speaking of that clip being popular, maybe I'm sure we've mentioned this before, but there was it Washington Post or New York Times Jewish reporter named Goldstein. Her name was literally like Shelley Goldstein. Whenever she was like trying to track me down. And,
we were getting texts and emails, dog. They were trying to get a hold of Josh, and they wanted after that thing went viral. They wanted Josh on the record.
Here's what's funny about that is when we posted it, because obviously like I posted it on my Twitter of like at the time it was like 100 followers, and I said obviously a joke. I was like, Charlie's masters give him permission to debate Nick Fuentes, and the Jews, some Jew took it they downloaded the video.
Late, yeah.
Yeah, and then they reposted it like without that caption. But then that got so much traction that the Jews lost track of the original, so they were basically like, "Who is this? What's going on here?" I think that's kind of funny.
Yep.
They do it to themselves, man. They do it to themselves.
I was testing the super chat. Silly Celsius super. Got you for another $2. Appreciate it. Sammy says AI versus BI, boomer intelligence. We know who wins that one.
Yeah.
We know who wins that one. It's not that the boomer is dumb, though. It's not that they are non-intellectual. It's that there is no more growth. Right? The cup has overflowed and they put the top on because they don't want any more to spill out. So they can't accept anymore. The top's on it. You're just pouring more onto the covered mug. It's just covered. No more can go in. It's full. That's it. That's all you get. That's a good analogy, dude.
I like that.
Markov chains can predict behavior. Yes. Very well. Very, very well. I can predict behavior too.
Well, it's funny because they talk about this like it's magic. I mean, this is
they do, dude.
This is like been around forever. So there, you know the game Fallout?
Yeah.
I've never played it, but like I know about it, and it's very like it's kind of like Magic the Gathering. You know, it's very like statistical gameplay. There's like percentages and your choices.
Oh, yeah,
you know,
when like you shoot something and it's got numbers on it.
Yeah, but it's like even your choices. There's like program choices. You pick this one, and basically you meet a character like halfway through one of the games that can predict the future, and they basically predict in like a code, in like a prophecy, what you'll do for the rest of the game, but it's based off of your past choices. This has been around forever.
We're having a mutiny in the chat. We're having a mutiny in the chat.
Is.
Not all boomers. not all boomers.
It's every one of you.
It's every single boomer.
Hashtag no boomers.
I'm assuming I know who this is though.
Who is that?
That's got to be Jim. We're gonna get to Jim here in a little bit though.
That's funny.
George, we have programmed a lot of information and given you a lot of information on what's going on in today's America. Based on your writings and the writings of the rest of the founders, what is it that you feel is the biggest problem or where we should start to fix things?
First of all, I want you to recognize, like, not really what's being said, not the content, but the creation of the thing, right? It's it seems off to me more than just AI off. You know what I mean? And also Glenn Beck is put in this position of power. If you notice the camera angles, they're specifically it's the reason I dropped my seat down with me and Josh.
He is looking down on George
looking
Washington.
down on George Washington. And it's the reason I drop my seat sometimes and try to get on a level playing field as Josh. Because this is at least subliminal saying
like
that
you are above
I'm above you.
Yes.
And this is what Glenn Beck is doing. This is very, very intentional. Very intentional. Also, it looks like George Washington, but it doesn't look like George Washington. It's like they wanted him to be younger.
Why not just put him in George Washington clothes? You know, like why make him, I just showed up. Glenn Beck is dressed nice. George Washington couldn't be bothered to come up in a green t-shirt. Yet his hair is the same, even though he was a redhead, and his hair, the white hair you see him have on is fake. I'm pretty sure.
I want to say the reason we're nitpicking this is because it needs to be. It's not like they just threw this together. This has been a massive project that they've been working on for months, probably longer than that. Because I know he announced it maybe a month and a half, 2 months ago. And they had promos for it and everything. So this isn't something they just threw together. All of this has been thought through.
It's one of those things where I won't get too off on a tangent here, but like, I've been amassing a lot of React content to do soon. I've seen, like, for example, people do hand-drawn animations. It's not porn, but it's like hand-drawn things where it's like the fact that this exists is like
Disturbing.
who made this?
Like-
Why does this exist? Someone put countless hours to make this. And it's not quite on the same level, but you know, it's like they put a lot of effort into this for like this uncanny valley thing. Also, to truly test how accurate it is, Obama should interview him next. But we'll see how that goes.
Oh, hold on.
Countrymen, you feel is the biggest problem or where we should start to fix things?
If I may speak plainly, my countrymen, the danger, the greatest danger to our republic lies not in foreign arms or political faction, but in the decay...
May I just interrupt you for a second? Could you just dumb it down just a little bit?
Okay. I do have 29 points, and they're all...
Somebody said he looks like cheese. Somebody said Glenn Beck looks like cheese. Dude,
Like
why does he look stuffed crust? Or
It's one of
pizza. What do they say? He looks like pizza. Dude, he looks...
Yeah. He looks like meatloaf or something.
Could you just dumb it down just a little bit?
Okay. I do have 29 points, and they're all referenced to exactly what we said in the
For
past.
this, just speak in today's language.
Okay. I get it. Let me speak to Americans. If I'm honest, America's biggest problem isn't political or economic. It's all moral. You've drifted from the virtues that make liberty possible in the first place. Freedom. To be free, you have to have discipline, you have to have faith, you have to have character. And if you don't have any of those things, laws can't stop anything. They mean little. Government turns either weak or oppressive. You have grown skeptical of truth. You're reckless with debt. You're comfortable blaming instead of building anything. And in my time, we understood that self-governance begins with self-control. Do you even recognize what self-control is? Public virtue matters more than public opinion. You keep electing these people, expecting things to change, but you haven't changed. The fix is not going to be found in Washington, D.C. It's going to be found in every home, every school, every heart. You know, where are the citizens who value duty?
All right. Let me pause for a second. You know what this reminds me of? Almost to the T. The Gates Garcia video.
I actually was going to say something on that.
It's this exact same thing. I don't know if it's the AI, if it's the prompt that's put in or what, but it's the same thing. It's this, oh, you can do better. You really, really suck right now, but you could do better. And all of it's your fault.
Funny how Glenn Beck's AI George Washington says all the stuff he says on his show.
That's weird, isn't it?
Odd. Also, I don't know about you, Zeb. Nothing wrong with like handsy people. I'm one of those people. But I just don't get the feeling that George Washington was the kind of guy who did this, who was like, here's the thing. Here's the thing. I wish AI George Washington would whip out a sword and slash Glenn Beck's face, turn him into toothpaste or something.
In AI world.
In GTA.
GTA 6 win? Dude, you know it's going to be a flop. You know it's going to flop.
I'm not. I mean, I'm going to get it, but
I'm not. I didn't even play 5 or 4 or 3 or 2. I think the last GTA I wanted to get like
5,
PS1.
but I wasn't allowed.
Huh?
I wanted to get 5, but I wasn't allowed. I wasn't rated M for mature age. My parents were gay about it. So I'm fighting.
Maybe that's a good thing. Maybe that's a good thing. I mean, I'm not even critiquing what he's saying because what he's saying is just typical, like Josh says, it's just typical Glenn Beck. It's like you put in, or you get out what you put into it. And obviously he put in more or less or selectively edited information from the founders. And I guess the question is, George Washington representing himself here, all of the founders? How is this working?
Have Byron Donalds interview him now.
He also said that he inputted a lot of the trouble and data that's going on in the world today into the AI to assess it. That's not going to be biased at all either, Josh.
And what does he mean, the data? Like articles he wrote? Like what data is going into it? Just a Wikipedia page about what happened in 1991, 1992?
Well, that's the point. It's like, are we inputting demographic data, like accurate demographic data, or just some self-reported data? It's like,
AR George Washington, did you know there were 2 million self-deportations?
They probably said 6 million.
Comfort, principle over popularity. America was built to be a moral and self-governing nation. It's only that foundation that will still save her.
Beginning
is that what
January
it is?
5th on The Torch. You find information at glennbeck.com. You'll notice he started speaking because this is what you will see. At the beginning, I will have to do the interviews with him because compute power is so expensive. And we'll ask you to write in. In fact, you can do it now, thetorch@glennbeck.com. What would you like to learn from the founders? What would you like your children to learn from the founders? Would you like a podcast from the founders on the Bill of Rights or the Federalist Papers or whatever?
Oh, dude, you know what they're going to do? They're going to PragerU this thing, dog.
Dude.
They're going to
right.
Blaze you this thing. They're going to create Blaze University where the history lessons are taught by the founders. That's exactly where they're going with this.
Little short videos where Thomas Jefferson goes up there and explains economics, and then Hamilton will go up there and say he's gay.
Dude, that's exactly where they're going with this thing, man. What a joke, dude. I think it's not only is it like one, not needed because we have so many writings that you don't need that input. Obviously, it has to go through a filter, and it's not going to be them that's filtering the information that is currently today. But another thing is, this is demoralizing. This is taking the people that wanted their posterity to have what they had built, bringing them back to life, and showing them around, hey, look at this thing that you created, watch it burn. It's like necromancy, but humiliation ritual without them participating. This is the weirdest thing I've ever seen, dude. What's the you'll live long enough to see what's the saying? Creations beyond your wildest imagination or something.
Oh,
like
man-made horrors beyond comprehension.
That is this, dude. Demonic. I think, dude, demonic is an understatement.
And that's the thing, is like, you argue with atheists and they're like, where is all the supernatural stuff going on today? And it's like, they don't need to do anything. The demons don't need to possess anybody to lift a finger when Christian conservative Glenn Beck is performing science-y seances to Trojan horse the Jewish propaganda back into your faces. Yeah. Literally with the face of anti-Semites.
Small correction, Glenn Beck is a Mormon, and supposedly, from what I'm told, not a good one. But that's a different conversation.
AI.
We got a little bit of
I
time
love
here.
how they tried to like make him look modern, but they still gave him the bad teeth.
What is it that you feel is the biggest problem, or where we should start to fix things?
If I may speak plainly.
Okay, dude.
May I just interrupt you for a second? Could you just dumb it down of just
exactly what we said in the
for
past?
this? Just
Speak in today's language. Okay. I get
Dude,
it.
it's so demanding too. It's so speak in today's language. Okay, dumb it down. Speak in today's language. It's like,
Well, what is funny is what's implicit in that is it's not like I think there is something to what you're
dude,
saying about how
would
Glenn
have
Beck.
a fucking sword through his fucking face right now.
Agreed. But what he's doing is he's basically insinuating that that this AI George Washington is more intelligent than the people watching it. Hate to say, might be right.
Dude, imagine being George Washington right now. Coming back. You turn on the YouTubes and you see Glenn Beck bringing you back to life to berate you, haul you out, and humiliate you. Put words in your mouth. All right, let's break down the content of it real quick. We got a little bit of time. We don't have a ton because I want to get to some of this other stuff. Let's break down some of this content of whatever is going on here.
Let me speak to Americans. If I'm honest, America's biggest problem isn't political or economic. It's all moral.
It's demographic. It's all moral. It's not politically or economic, even though politics are morality. George Washington would advocate. Dude, there's so much here, man. Like, where do you even start? It's all moral. Yeah, it's obviously all moral. When you import a bunch of demon worshipers, what do you expect? Do you expect them to be moral? Do you expect them to have the same Christian foundation that the entire Christendom had prior to becoming the West, prior to the invasion after 65? Do you expect that morality to be there? No. Obviously, it's all moral, but it's even downstream from that or upstream from that, however you want to look at it. It's political because we don't have the laws and we don't enforce the laws that create that morality or that morality came from. Immoral. It's immoral. It's the morals. We got to get our morals back, Josh. We got our morals. Just they're gone.
Glenn Beck, our morals are the problem here. By the way,
drifted from
his because I have to listen to Glenn Beck for a certain portion of the day working at a conservative radio station. He shills his daughter's music, which is terrible. His daughter has a good voice, but her music, you know what's funny? We talk about how like the boomer generation and the zoomer generation, like it's unprecedented the changes that have happened, how selfish the boomers are. But what's so funny, kind of like what Nick says about Tucker, where Tucker says, get married, have more kids than you can afford, don't go to college, go to the trades, which I'm not saying is like the worst advice ever, but that's not what his kids are doing. The people like Glenn Beck, who are millionaires, are living how like people should be living, where their children are dependent on them to a point where they can truly indoctrinate them with, I mean, Glenn Beck is evil, but what is good. But the problem is the boomers will, like just your average boomer, your working class boomer, immediately was 18 years old, get the frick out. I'm not helping you. You're like somebody else's kid to me now. And then what happens? They go off on their own. The kids go off on their own and they start to formulate their own opinions just like their parents wanted, but they're resentful, so it ends up being different. And now they resent the kids for being different than them. But Glenn Beck, who's a millionaire, his daughter is singing Christmas songs about how liberals are gay and no trans in women's sports. Literally, that's what the Christmas song is about. And so she, like, his children are fully indoctrinated. His audience is fully indoctrinated, which is, indoctrination is not a bad word.
Well, here's the thing to that is that Glenn Beck and Tucker Carlson, we talk about these elites, these people that have the ability to live in America. America is a subscription service, and you have to be able to afford that, right? We talk about what's the subscription service? Living in a white neighborhood, going to a private school. These are subscription services to America. And if you can't afford them, you don't live in America. This isn't hard. I mean, that's just baseline. That's just baseline if you want to be able to go outside. America has a subscription service, and if you can't afford it, you don't live in America. And if you don't live in America, you need to stop chastising people that don't have the ability to and want to. This isn't entitlement. It's just a recognition that you've been stolen from. Dismissing the thing as must sounds entitled is essentially ad hom and dismissive. Deal with the arguments. Otherwise, shut up and get out of the way. You're driving down the road. Shut up over there. We're not going the wrong way. We're just going to crash into this big ass tree.
I'm not lost. You're lost.
We're riding in the back of an 18-wheeler, and an Indian's driving this thing. That's what's going on right now. You think George Washington would advocate Indians driving the 18-wheelers?
Maybe into the ocean.
Virtues that make liberty possible in the first place. Freedom. To be free, you have to have discipline, you have to have faith, you have to have character. And if you don't have any of those things, laws can't stop anything, and they mean little. Government turns either weak or oppressive.
Glenn Beck talks on his show about how AI will be the Antichrist. What's going on?
Laws don't stop anything. What? What do you I mean, at best you can make a prohibition argument. What do you mean laws don't stop anything? Yeah, we need to have character. Yeah, we need to have faith, but to act like we don't need laws, especially in a world that doesn't have that character and that faith, and then to say government's just going to come tyrannical and or weak. Well, it is weak because it isn't enacting the laws, and now we have no order.
You have grown skeptical of truth. You're reckless with debt. You're comfortable blaming instead of building anything. And in my time, we understand.
You, Josh, you're reckless with debt. You know, not everybody since Reagan. You know, you, Josh, you want to blame people and not build anything. You know, do you not want to build like 32 shoeboxes so you can rent those out to some Section 8 housing and get government funding from that? Like, what do you want to, why aren't you building anything, Josh?
I'm lazy.
You're lazy and entitled, obviously. That's the only answer. It's the only answer.
Good that self-governance begins with self-control. Do you even recognize what self-control is? Public virtue.
So that's, you know, Zeb, he's got a point here. If I want to save up to buy a house, here's what I need to do. I need to turn my Christmas lights off when I leave the house. That's what I'm doing. You know, I need to take the bus to work in a city where, or take I'll take the light rail to work in a city where there's a stabbing every month. Instead of using my car.
There's your subscription to America. The subscription to live in America is being able to afford a decent car and not have to rely on communal transportation.
Matters more than public opinion. You keep electing these people, expecting things to change, but you haven't changed. The fix is not going to be found in Washington, D.C. It's going to be found in every home, every school, every heart. You know, where are the citizens who value duty over comfort, principle over popularity? America was built to be a moral and self-governing nation. It's only that foundation that will still save her.
All right, I'm done with that. Next. Get me out of here. Get me out of here, Josh.
Not even good. I mean, I've seen
not even good.
I've seen debates between, like on TikTok, AI debates between like Julius Caesar and Napoleon over who's the best emperor.
Nice.
And they're like, you know, they're clearly AI, but it's kind of like, oh, you know, this
interesting.
They look better. I don't even know what AI they were made with, but they look better than that one. Glenn Beck couldn't even. Well, he's a Jew worshiper, so he had to cheap out on Torch or whatever it is.
Let's grab some of these super chats and we're going to jump into the next segment. The next segment is going to be just carrying on this conversation of boomer worship, AI dealing with the consequences of their action in today's world, and just kicking the can down the road. GeoGasser, welcome to stream. It's hard to envision a founding father in a t-shirt. It strikes me as a vulgarity, a moral standard deconstruction. Not enough to demolish statues anymore. Good point, dude. Good point.
Defiling the founders.
Good point. Not enough to destroy statues anymore. They have to bring them back to life intellectually and destroy them that way also. Not only do we have to get rid of their physical representations, we have to bring them back on their mental and intellectual and moral representations and destroy them that way too. Kick them into the dirt. Put them 6 feet down again. That's exactly what they're trying to do. Whether they recognize it or not, that's what they're doing. Also, Gasser, what is that tan? Was he Indian? Obviously. I mean, how else do you expect them to brown wash everything in America?
Oh, that would explain what is it? Gemini AI? Was that the one that was like turning the founders black?
Yep. Oh, well,
there you go. There's a little bit of holdover from that time.
Ooh. That's exactly what's happening, dude.
It's gonna be like the evolutionary chart, like from ape to man. It's gonna be slightly tanned George Washington, right back to where we started with black George Washington.
Sidebar: Robert Sefford dropped a video today saying that Mansa Musa was white. They're gonna crash out, dude. They're gonna crash out.
Let's go, dude. Do you believe
compelling case he made? Compelling case he made.
Well, I think Mansa Musa was fake. There's like
I think he mentions that, but he says if he existed, he was white.
Well, he definitely wasn't sub-Saharan. There's no way. And oh yeah, he had like he's the richest man ever because he controlled gold in Africa in like the 1400 or whatever, like a billion years ago.
He like destroyed the economy for a couple of decades or something because he found so much gold and brought it back.
Ah, yes. Okay, so he was like the world's first trillionaire.
Shout out Smelly Balls says Josh looking great today.
Thank you, Smelly Balls. I don't know who that is. Like, you got to call in sometime. Smelly Balls always comes into all the chats and glazes me.
We did used to do call-ins. Maybe we should do call-ins today.
I ain't got nowhere to be.
You ain't got nowhere to be?
No, I can go.
Call-ins today, chat? Yes or no call-ins today? We haven't done call-ins in a while. That would be fun. It would have to be members only.
But hey, if you spam it in chat, you better show up.
Somebody better call in if we do call-ins.
Every time we do this, everyone's like, where's their call-ins? And then we finally do it. Crickets. So if we do it, you better show up.
You better do it, chat. Or I'm going to call George Washington. Call George Washington.
What? We're going to get we're going to bring Francis Marion back, and he's going to sneak up on your ass in your sleep and slit your throat.
Washington dressed like a tech bro these days. Yeah, dude, I don't know what they're doing. And it's not just Glenn Beck. It's going to become more prominent across the board. These people are going to be like, oh, I can bring on the founders and interview them instead of trying to organize all this stuff. Well, let me just do that. I mean, you're gonna have Rogan doing it. You're gonna have I wouldn't doubt Tucker Carlson starts to do it eventually too. You know what's gonna happen, dude.
I would love for Tucker Carlson to interview the founders, and then he laughs, and they go, "Are you a fag?" Oh my gosh, they're gonna be like, "You were attacked by demons, but you sleep in the bed full of dogs."
Dude, we're gonna have to have a crackdown on AI at some point.
What we need to do is get ahead of it, and we need to bring MLK back and put him over there, put him in the hot seat, and be like, what was he doing? I was like, so what was it like to rape people? Was that fun?
And Dr. Tennis for 30 says Glenn Beck looks like he's filled with cheese. Oh yeah,
filled with cheese. That's pretty funny.
Dude, yeah, the AI thing, man, exhausting, dude, exhausting. All right, so you just say you don't have any from yesterday.
No time codes from yesterday, but so basically, I've been having an ongoing debate with my boss,
preface.
host of the show at the radio station that I work for. And what he does is he admits that, with quantitative easing and all these economic factors, inflation and whatnot, and Social Security, the boomers have essentially bet against their children's future. He admits that the country is headed for economic turmoil, and a lot of that blame is laid at the feet of boomers. So he's a boomer who's willing to admit those things. But, me being 28 years old, I started the job when I was 25. He gives me, he kind of brings me in as the voice of the Zoomer generation. I am a Zoomer, so he and I debate on these things and the general topics and whatnot, why do young people feel this way about Israel? Why do young people feel this way about the founders and that kind of stuff? So he usually is actually on the side of the Zoomers when it comes to, the boomers versus the Zoomers, any kind of, argument related to that. But recently he's been saying, I'm starting to think that maybe I've been too easy on the Zoomers. I think I've been too hard on the boomers. You know why, Zeb? This is from yesterday, so you won't be able to hear it. But you know why, Zeb?
Why is that?
I'll tell you why. Because when I was growing up, we had 3 television channels. You guys have all these streaming services, and you pay so much for these damn streaming services. If you only spend your money more wisely, then maybe you could afford a house. Maybe you could afford another car or something like that. A little bit of maintenance on the old vehicle. You're not you're living a paycheck to paycheck? Well, why don't you drop Hulu? Stuff like that, and talking about how this, I kid you not, this was an example they gave. When they grew up, they had to manually wind their windows up and down. So
Such a struggle, dude. Such a struggle.
I'll tell you, I told him
The
this. I was
basic
like,
argument-
I'll tell you what. If you want to pay to install hand crank windows in my Honda Accord, but give me a house, I'll take it. I will crank my windows in my car manually till the day I die if you give me a house today. This is what we're dealing with.
The basic argument he was making, it just boils down to this. Your bread and circuses are better. That's his argument. I like your bread and circuses better. My life was just better. But then when pressed about which decade or when would you rather be born, 20 years ago or 50 years ago, the obvious answer is 50 years ago. And that's the answer he takes. Why? Because he knows in his core, regardless of whatever standard of living you want to advocate for today, they had it better, dude.
And stop changing your name, dude. American Crusader says, did Zeb call into the radio show this morning? No, but we got to get you in there. And
I'm banned, guys. I'm blacklisted.
He's been blacklisted. But you know what I want to see though? This will really get the boomers going off. Go in there and bash Ronald Reagan,
dude.
I did that once, and they literally told me never to do it again.
That's a no-no.
That's a no-no.
That's an untouchable.
You guys don't though. Don't get any ideas. But yeah. So the boomer. This is the thing. This is the thing with the boomers. It's one thing. I used to have the mindset. I don't know about you, Zeb, but I used to have the mindset of, I'll just wait for them to die. But here's the problem. Even that won't work because they're not going to die.
They're not dying.
They're living forever, and they're selling everything they have to BlackRock because they don't want to give it away. They don't want to. Whoa! I paid for this house. You want me to just give it to my son? You want me to just give it to my children? What's wrong with you? They didn't earn it like I did.
All right, we're going to dive into this. It's going to be audio in the background, obviously a radio show. You say you got timestamps?
I do.
All right, Josh has timestamps. We're going to jump to a few of these. Let's look at yesterday's real quick before. Oh, there it goes.
Oh, there it is. Well, these are accurate.
All right. All have to do it a different way. Okay, hold on. Chat, bear with me real quick.
I was gonna say, because where I have it's a little different, but if this were still on your channel, I would say we probably shouldn't do this because people would definitely track it down and try and call in. But we're good. You guys will behave yourselves, right? I have faith in you. Please don't get me fired, whatever.
Where's the audio? Why is the audio not?
We're having
second.
First time this happened. We're having technical difficulties.
All right, I need to get audio through here.
Excuse
somewhere.
me.
It's
It's not even coming through the computer.
Yeah,
Like if you were to
the computer, I need to put it through. I need to add it to screen somehow. How do I do that? Say words.
Words. Amnesty Reagan. We got. Are y'all close to bringing Josh on full time? Good question. Send us more money, and I'll answer your question. We're 6 months. He says we shall see. I'm trying to because Atlas, Zeb, and John are all kind of independent. They've got the support. I mean, Zeb. I give Zeb his credit. He's directly responsible for getting 45K out of 50K because of the ballistics video on Charlie Kirk. Next time someone is shot, I'll do that. Dibs, Zeb. If anyone else gets shot, I'm doing the ballistics video. As a friend of a former Marine sniper, a 30-06 would never do that. Guns don't kill people. Tyler Robinson probably doesn't either. But
what side would you take then if Fuentes was wanted to ride the fence?
If Fuentes wanted to ride the fence on Tyler Robinson, well, he already is. Okay, I thought you meant like I was gonna ask if Nick Fuentes got shot, would you think he's a Fed still?
Me?
Yeah.
If he got shot?
If Nick Fuentes got shot, would you think he's no longer a Fed? Or an asset of some flavor?
I mean, it would depend on circumstances, but probably not.
If he were... Probably not. All right.
All right, keep going.
Well, Josh, I want a Jewish tunnel documentary. I'm still using them. I don't want to expose it just yet. Josh, he's definitely a little F at the bare minimum, as in Nick Fuentes being a little F Fed. So,
all right, 1 second. Be quiet. To address our government spending. All right, I just need to run the audio through. Okay, go ahead.
Zeb, if you haven't already, I'm sure most of you have, but go check out Zeb's video with Atlas on his channel, where they talk about feds, who's a Fed, who's not, kind of the definition of a Fed. They said there's Fed, there's capital F Fed, and then there's all capital Fed. We need to come up with names, like distinct names. I think Zeb and I talked about this a little bit, but I think it would really help out because they went into the categories, how there's people that are paid. There's people that are just fed information from the feds, and they're just dumb enough to think that it's authentic. There's people that are fed royalty, like Tucker Carlson, and essentially, I think when you just call them fed, and fed, it doesn't really paint a full picture. And I think we need to come up with some type of name. So like Tucker Carlson, I would say, I think you could call him Fed. Then there's, I don't know, spy. Give us some Joseph Rizzoli says PED. That's pretty good. MLK was a Fed asset and the government killed him. Exactly. J.R. Williams 4029 says little effer, LOL. Fed or Fed. To be fair, Nick did say that Israel has his politics, but not beneficial to him. Do you not have Israel's politics, but for America? Because we have Israel's politics before America here. I mean, other than killing people. Other than executing a genocide. We'll definitely execute people. Piers Morgan needs to be executed, unironically. I think Europe, the whole continent, they need to extradite him to the United States, and he will be our first hanging in God knows how long. Because that interview, that was one of those things, and I won't get too into it because, we got to save it for Groyper Report. But that interview shows you that you do not hate journalists enough. Even if you think Nick is a Fed, it exposes the flavor of tactics. You know what I mean? And I'll get specific here. I've been a fan of Nick Fuentes for 8 years. Only because of his interview with Piers Morgan did I learn the name of Nick Fuentes' dad. Been watching him for close to a decade. He doxed Nick Fuentes' dad. You didn't see that?
No, that's what I'm saying. He doxed him.
Yeah, he doxed Bill. Well, I'm not going to say it, but he doxed Nick Fuentes' father, and then played the. I'm just quoting you. I'm just saying what you said. Nick has never said his dad's name on the show, and now he is accusing, as Nick said, he is accusing Nick's dad of being a racist, saying his name and putting a target on his back. How many insert name here are there in Chicago? So for that, and Nick said on his show last night, again, I'm probably getting too much into the Groyper Report territory, but that now Piers Morgan's kids are fair game. And I'm for it. He's 60, so his kids are probably like in their 20s and 30s, so, they're adults. And also, they sound like girls. And they're probably gay. Marcus and Moto says Piers Morgan is a pervert. Never looked into it, never heard anything of the sort, but I do buy it. This whole thing about like most pedophiles are white, that is anti-white rhetoric, but most white pedophiles are British. That's all I'll say. It's probably because they're infiltrated by Jews. They were the first. We are really struggling here with this audio. What the hell? It didn't come up. Okay. Gay liars are destroying everything. Absolutely. This is, Zeb says we have a podcast here, Occupied Government, which is true, but that's kind of recent. We've had a fag occupied government for like 100 years now. I mean, you all know about Herbert Hoover and the like. This is what they do is gay people are evil, just kind of inherently. And they're also insecure and easily manipulatable, which is why all of our politicians are gay. They're all I think Milo, for example, Milo going on Tucker Carlson and saying they're gay. I don't think Alex Jones is gay. I don't think JD, yeah. Not working. I don't JD Vance is gay, but excuse me. So everyone's gay because they're the easiest to control. They're like women, but no one would vote for all. They just get gay people in there because it's the same thing. And contrary to popular belief, and I know Zeb will probably disagree with me on this, you can't always tell. The gay, yeah, on face value. And same with trans. There's some convincing ones. Like Candace Owens. I mean, Badreet Macron. I'm teasing. We're having some catastrophic engine failure here in the studio. Can't seem to get this. We can try and wing it with the internet. If it's taking there's this new guy in chat. Stick around, even though I'm kind of about to trash you a little bit. But Vakrenhart, JD Vance ain't gay. Shut up. He was on Founders. That was one of the guys on Founders. Zeb. Yeah, like Zeb said, JD Vance said he was gay in his book, and what was it? You were like, I trashed Reagan on Founders, and he was like, don't trash Reagan. You're in the wrong place, buddy. Stick around because you might learn something. But we are not your Glenn Beck and George Washington are that way. But stick around because we're smart.
Yeah, I mean, JD Vance wrote in his book about how he was being gay to his grandma.
There's Jim.
I'm not a new guy. I want to hear the crash out. All right, let's do this real quick.
The milkman of the PD.
I'm gonna try to do it this way.
You gonna play it through your phone?
Dude, I don't. You sent me audio, and I just can't get it to work right now. I gave up.
We'll try it. We'll try it through the internet. The show's there now.
All right, you want to try it? But I thought you said the
time codes they'll be inaccurate, but I should be able to filter through. My memory ain't that bad, even though it ain't good.
All right, let me double check, make sure it's working like this.
It ain't working.
Yeah, it's not. Why is it not pulling audio? That's a problem.
Zach Bartler says JD Vance deaf gay. 100%. Smelly Balls is not a new fag. He's been with the Joshua Vandernoord show, and that will come back eventually when I come on full time. But for now, I got Real Talk and Shorts to do and Clipping and all the other shows. I'm on 4 of the 5 shows we currently have on New American Vision.
All right, let's try it this way.
The perfect economy.
Goated.
Yeah, everybody was paid exactly.
All right. Jeez, sorry about that, chat. Sorry about that. We're doing something a little bit different than we usually do. We're pulling up radio things and going over them that way. There was so this is yesterday. Is there anything specific from yesterday? We're gonna go over 5 today.
I kind of brought it up, and it might be too hard to find. Let me grab my mouse. Let me see if there's
exactly what they deserve.
Oh yeah.
Now, some of these private equity companies, that question never comes up.
I mean, put on 2.
But
415.
Now, talking about the 2-story house, the picket fence, and all that, I have that. I got a wife and 3 kids, and I'm 35, so I don't know.
But I don't feel like a cog in the machine.
Toward millennial, or excuse me, boomer toward Xer or Zer. I think it's here's what I believe. I think the generation
That's too fast.
Z
Let us know, chat.
may be the group. I mean, we talked a little bit about it last week. You know, how little faith young people have in their government, how little trust young people have in the institutional hierarchy. You know, those who call the shots and kind of tell us where to stand. And I think that frustration, that anger, that resentment could be used for good. I mean, I genuinely believe that the generation that refuses to buy what the government's selling will be the generation that cures our ills or makes us or gets us on a better path forward. 843-661-0937. But once again, I'm not arguing that we resent them. I think when I get the text that I got over the weekend, and he knows who he is.
I mean, it's out there.
The text and what it basically implied, Rev, was now that we're rounding up illegals, and now that illegals believe that they're better off not going to the job site, because if they go to the job site, they could be rounded up and sent back where they come from, or even charged with some crime.
This is what he's getting at is in response to the guy that was posting about how he's had like a 400% uptick in calls and job sites looking for somebody to come do work, and they're still wanting to have illegal pricing.
Yeah. That was what. Thank you, Jim from Florence. He sent that to the host.
Okay.
And so that is literally exactly what he is responding to.
That's exactly what he was responding to.
That, the opportunities for employment are getting better for young people, and they're exhibiting a willingness to go to work. I mean, it's a guy that's a construction foreman, and he says, for all of you out there who say young people lack the work ethic, I'm not seeing that, because as we enforce our immigration laws and some of the illegals see what's happening in American cities, and, they're for fear of being incarcerated or deported, they're not going to work. And some of these companies are having to find American workers. They're finding that American workers are willing to go to work. But my point to the person who sent me that text is American workers under the age of 35 told pollsters, not me, not Rev, not the president, they told pollsters that flexibility was a big part. Work-life balance is a big part. So when you say, when you kind of criticize a boomer saying, well, you guys have always said that young people don't want to work. Now, young people said that they don't want to work as much. Young people said that they're seeking flexibility. Now, Josh's argument, I think, is some of that is...
I want to stop right here because I was listening during this part yesterday. What he doesn't understand is the dynamic is different nowadays, right? When we are arguing for a better work-life balance, you didn't have a cell phone in 1980 where you could go home and they just call you day after day. 9-to-5s don't exist anymore. They don't exist anymore. 80-hour work weeks don't exist anymore. You literally work 24/7. This is the work-life balance. We are incapable of separating work from home. It doesn't exist anymore. This is the work-life balance that is being argued for. It's not they want to work less. That's not the argument. They want to get away from you. That's what they want to do.
But that is kind of baked in the hopelessness. I don't see any reason to be as dedicated to my job. I don't see any hope or promise on the other side. Is that fair, Josh?
Yeah, I mean, I'm in a good situation where, community broadcasters, it does have this.
You are far too nice, dude. You are far too nice to them.
Hey, they write my checks.
Like, I like.
Don't bite the hand that feeds you. I'm not going to put Josh on the spot too much.
What am I supposed to do?
I like my bosses, except Dave, obviously. Not teasing. But I don't feel like a cog in the machine. Why wouldn't someone who like when I worked at Amazon, I told you guys my name tag.
Like, I do get along with these people. They are like when the microphones are off, they're good people. When my gallbladder ruptured, the CEO called me to make sure I was doing okay. Like, there is this sense, to a degree. I mean, it varies. It's on a spectrum.
Well, you don't work in assembly line.
Yes, I don't work for Amazon where my barcode on my name tag literally covers up my name and face.
I think
true story, by the way.
Get into that here in a second too, but.
Oh, I think I did say that. Yeah. You're right.
Let me catch up on Super Chats because I know I missed one. Make an AI Chuck that just agrees with him and that just agrees with everything. Just spout the narrative. Dude, the most shocking thing, I know we had a lot when we were doing the back and forth with Chuck. The most shocking thing to me was when I mentioned, I think it was JFK specifically. It was like, do you believe the official narrative of JFK? And he was like, yes.
Dude, I don't know anyone who believes. I don't know.
That's what I'm saying. Like I don't know anybody.
Even the liberals I know don't believe the official story.
Right. That's what I'm saying. That's like you agree with the narrative, and you're not a revolutionary. Anyway. Yesterday, Pierce was humiliated by Nick, but the best line by far was Nick said, "Where you're on your way out, you could see fear in his eyes." Yes. That was a good interview, dude. Not that it was a good interview. It was a good showing from Nick. It's just Nick is good at this thing. And I think he said on his, I caught a clip of it, said, you can't go into Pierce interview being all serious. That's a problem. And we talk about Pierce interviews on here a lot of times. It's just grifter wars. That's all it is. And it's a struggle session. And if you go in there trying to explain everything away, it's like whatever. But it's the same thing. I mean, but at the core of the interview, it was the same thing Crowder did, just in reverse, right? Crowder just played different clips of Nick, wanted to just, hey, explain yourself. And then Crowder just moved on to the next thing. Pierce actually pushed back on it. It was play clips of Nick. Do you agree with yourself? And it's like, obviously, and then move on to the next thing. So,
and Nick said it best.
It was entertaining.
Nick said it best where Piers Morgan is a tabloid journalist. That is what it is.
Yeah. He's a grifter wars. That's what he does. That's what he does.
Buy our shirts, Grifter Wars.
New nav members only stream, only feds. OnlyFans. We could do an OnlyFans member stream. We just go down the list. You're a Fed. You're a Fed. I disagree. First hanging is assigned to Mr. Cash.
Oh, when I said we're
Who
going to
goes first? That's a good question.
Here's the thing about a public hanging is if we publicly hang Cash, that means we have to be close enough to him to smell him. So maybe that one can be televised. That one will be like the Nuremberg hangings where it's like in a basketball court somewhere.
Josh knows where his bread is buttered. Yeah. You can't buy the hand.
So give us more money so Zeb can, am I pointing the right way? So Zeb can butter my bread.
Tag, the barcode that was like my, was like my company barcode covered up half my name and face on my name tag. You know, literally it was like the guy at the front door who saw me every day didn't recognize me at all. He only knew to just scan my thing, and if a little green check mark came on, then I was good to enter the building. Why wouldn't I demand work-life balance like with that? You know, if I were working at a lumber yard 80 hours a week, but when I got home, I lived in a nice 2-story house with a loving wife and a couple of kids, and we didn't have to worry about like going to the grocery store. Can I afford dinner tonight? You know, if that was the case, I'd be fine with it. But I'm demanded to work 80 hours a week, might get fired just because they're replacing me with immigrants, and I'm going home to a trailer park with some busted up woman, or no woman at all, and no kids. So why wouldn't I demand, you know, screw it. I don't really care about this.
I don't think that's unique to this generation, what you just described, though. I mean, that's life.
I'm not saying that every job throughout all history until recently has been hunky-dory community, but it's like that. What I'm saying is this situation that I'm in is exceptionally rare. And, you know, Dave, you've been here a long time, and Ken, you've been here like, almost.
First of all, it is unique to this generation. This generation being millennials, maybe not specifically Gen Z, but that's not to say that a lower class, that a class system didn't exist. But if you look at, I mean, even if you look at like the class chart, it's the lower class is gradually growing. The lower middle class is gradually growing and starting to spike even more and more. Why? Because all the money is pulling at the top. And if you remove the money, and this is a longer discussion on what is the middle class, inflation in itself, hoarding the money at the top and not reinvesting it, but investing it in holdings is what is going to facilitate this financial ruin of everyone. And then you have and then you can get into like remittances and everything like that. It's like, it's exhausting is what it is.
The point, and it's also, it's like to say, if I were to put in the same amount of work that they put in when they were my age, it would not be worth as much.
You wouldn't make it, dude.
Exactly.
You couldn't make it.
And that's
impossible.
That's my point. Is this guy who's he's actually my boss, Dave. He talked about how when he was in radio, he got started in radio when he was 18 years old, and to make ends meet when he was at the bottom of the ladder, he did things like voiceover work. He did things like, other broadcast related things. Well, first off, if you hear him, he sounds like Atlas. He's got like a super deep radio voice, and all of the voiceover work, because that is something I've done, is being shilled out to AI now. So it doesn't even, it literally is not the same. There's no way it could be the same.
Almost a decade and a half.
Yeah.
So, but out there, it's not like that.
But do you think, does your generation believe that's unique? Does your generation believe that the scenario you just portrayed or painted is unique to that generation?
They probably do, and there's probably an argument that it's not, but to me, it doesn't matter. The question is, whether it's unique or not is irrelevant. Is it bad? And I would argue it is, and that's all that matters.
Fair enough. 843. I mean, your argument is it sounds similar to what we dealt with when we were much younger and trying to make our way.
The scenario he just described, and yeah, the numbers are bigger, and I think there is a difference, a wider gap between the income and housing cost, for example.
A wider gap, he says. A wider gap. 6 times is not a wider gap, dude.
Oh, it's a little.
I get.
It's just a little bit different. It's just a little bit different. Bought his house for $15K back in '85.
I give you that, and that is a failure.
What should be said is this, because later on they talk about how this comes across as entitled. This comes across as my generation being entitled. All right, let's for the sake of argument, it's not. But for the sake of argument, let's grant it is entitled. When, as both of these guys will admit, when our future has been sold to guarantee they're present, they are not entitled to have us like them or be appreciative of it. Yet that is what is demanded. We have our futures have been sold. We had no say in it. And then when we complain about it, it's you sound like a girl. You sound like a child. What's your problem, man?
Failure, that is a problem. But you just described, I mean, you sound very entitled when you say that. You have the same hopes and dreams that our generation had. You know, when you describe the house and the picket fence and the kids and the wife and all that. So that's not different at all. You know, is it harder to achieve that now? Yeah, you could argue there's a few more challenges. And you mentioned, you know, illegal immigrants as one, right? That's has a negative impact on the economy, the whole economy.
There's a few more challenges. Like the house and the picket fence doesn't even fucking exist anymore. Like that's a pretty decent challenge, Josh.
All my neighbors are throwing spears at me and are trying to rape me. There's a few more challenges.
A few more challenges. You know, the shoebox that you're living in with 18 other shoeboxes attached to it. You know, just toss a little picket fence out there, dude. You'll get there.
I live in a shoebox underneath the airport, and my Mexican neighbors are burning plastic every night. Literally.
And hopefully we're doing something about that. But I would just say it sounds a little bit entitled. How many? But I mean, I'm not defending Josh because I hear you, and I'm kind of with you on most points. But how many jobs did you compete against an illegal? And I give that. I mean, I do agree.
This is such a shit talking point, dude. It's so out there. It's like, okay, you didn't compete with an illegal to go pick the crops. That's not the point. This is a zero-sum game. If you add one person to the employment line, you are then removing someone else. It's zero-sum. It doesn't matter where specifically. It's simply supply and demand as a whole. If you import 20 million people, it doesn't matter what their job is. That job is then going to be filled by them. And then those people that would have gotten that job have to move up or move down. And then those people have to move up or move down. And somebody's getting shit out of a job because we're importing people from India, because we're importing Chinese into schools, into STEM. The guys coming out of STEM Americans can't even get jobs because they're being replaced by people that are, one, cheating the system, and two, lying about it. It's so disingenuous of an argument, man. It's so short-sighted, shallow, and just retarded. It's retarded boomer slop. How many illegals have you competed with, Josh?
Granted, he is saying that to Dave. But yeah.
The point is that this is the baseline. Dave is the baseline for the live in the political sphere, consume the data boomer. Ken is the very baseline Republican Party. These are the dynamics.
Immigration and debt. I mean, I keep going back to that. I mean, there are a lot of issues that matter. I mean, blowing Venezuelan drug boats out of the water. I mean, all these things matter. But I'm telling you, I'm convinced, as somebody who does this for a living, that immigration and debt are the central issues facing America today, and we better figure out a way to resolve not just one, but both. 843-661-0937. We'll take a break. Back in a few.
Until like a month ago, debt was the biggest one until I made the argument that immigration is a big part of what is causing the debt. So immigration is only a real threat to the country because of its impact on the debt, because of its impact on the economy.
Largely due to, well, a lot of issues, but I would say scamming the system and just the Somalis in Minnesota gaming the system of retardation and autism. We're just giving them handouts, dude. The numbers just go up for them.
We're back, 843-661-0937. Some interesting off-air conversations. So do boomers, in the inheritance world, in the passing down of assets, do boomers give their home to their kids, or do they sell it to BlackRock and live like a king for the last 2 or 3, 5, 10 years of their life?
Let's go to
I guess.
All right, let's take a look at this.
Well,
thanks for checking out this archived edition of the Wake Up
for a lot of this conversation. That's going to happen today. I haven't listened to today, so this is going to be raw.
I would say
34/7.
Yeah. but it's going to be soon.
Man, I'd love to live there. I'd love to go there, but I don't have enough money. I'm 25 years old. I don't have any money. But if I worked a little bit harder, if I stayed a little bit longer, there's a chance I could do that.
No.
I think Josh here. There's a lot more writing on the wall, so to speak, with a generation that has been around as long as the boomers have, than a generation that are inspired by, I don't know, this, I don't want to say they're inspired by the social media energy, but they're getting a lot of information. They're forming a lot of their opinions.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about Josh because Josh does the work to have his own opinions. I'm talking about my kids who don't work at a conservative radio show. They browse the internet.
People like Josh are the shit.
They
you know what? Let me see
also
this.
they wanted to talk about my comments from the day before, which you just heard, and it was about 30 minutes about them talking about it before I was allowed to chime in.
Really? See if this plays.
Because this one has the
need all this premium seating.
Okay, I got the timestamps now. 34.
Go to 104. Go to 1 hour and 4 minutes. It might be a little bit before that, but go ahead and try that.
Boom.
Has taken off as it has, and no boomers made. Well, let me back up. Boomers in the collective have not made responsible political decisions to address our government spending money it doesn't have that burdens future generations. That's where I think we've really dropped the ball. But no, I mean, the boomers have done some cool things. I mean, the boomers have brought about, rapid change in economies. And I mean, the boomers have, I guess, constructed an economy that more people participated and gained benefit from than any generation since or before or since, for that matter.
I had the biggest. He was getting flustered because, like, when he was saying that, I was smiling like this. I was like,
The boomers have created the greatest economy. We opened it up to the rest of the world. We opened up America to the whole world and created this economic zone so that we could trade with China, so that we could run NAFTA and export all of our manufacturing, so that we could destroy all the American jobs. The boomers have created this great influx of money into America because we've just exported fucking everything to everyone else and shafted everyone that has come after us. We destroyed nationalism so that we could supply the rest of the world with mammon. You want to worship our God? Here's mammon. Worship it. Worship the mammon God now. Boomers created capitalism. We created more capitalism. We created globalism. More globalism. He nailed it, dude. He did. He nailed it. You got it, dude. You nailed it. You fucking nailed it.
The boomers, once again, are a mixed bag. But there's no denying, Rev, that there is this, and I mean, you accept this, I think, that there is a sense of resentment that generations have about other generations. The boomers, if you talk to a boomer long about the younger generations, here's what you'll hear. They got all them damn tattoos and they don't want to go to work. I mean, I hear it they got all them damn tattoos. They're all caught up in this trans, all these multiple genders and multiple cultures, and they celebrate diversity unlike any other. I mean, and then if you talk to a young person about a boomer, they'll say, I respect my elders. I appreciate some of what my parents and grandparents have done, but there's been some places they have been woefully lacking. And I think that's an orderly way of which to have a conversation. What I try to do is figure out why. Josh says, I want to put myself in other people's heads, all that I do. I mean, I always do that, Josh. In business, I've always said, okay, I understand my perspective. I mean, I want to make this deal or I don't want to make this deal. And I always understand where I'm coming from. There's a counterpart. So I always try to put myself in that other man's shoes. If Rev and I are talking about, if I've got a piece of property I'm trying to sell and Rev's trying to buy it, or vice versa. I know what I need. I know the important things. To me, I got no idea what's going on in Rev's head. I mean, I don't know that Rev would pay more or he thinks this is too much. I've always tried to put myself in the other man's shoes or the other woman's shoes to understand, what motivates them to say yay or nay. See, I believe that college has a lot to do with this. I mean, I genuinely do. When you look at I
want to make a side note. I want to make a side note here because Marcus Moto brought it up, and I was going to bring it up here in a little bit. But the dynamic here is that it is Josh's boss's show. This is the dynamic, and he has the microphone, he has control, and Josh isn't he's allowed to give feedback, but there's no pushback. It's just how it exists, and I would expect it to be there, right? You don't bite the hand that feeds you. This is why when well, I'm not gonna. I can't name names.
So I'll tell you this, because I'm of the opinion. It is his show. He is my employer. There's a certain level of respect, regardless of my opinion. I don't feel at liberty to just cut him off whenever I want. Because technically, as a producer, I do control the mics, but I don't interrupt him. Like he allows me to jump. I can jump in, but I'm not going to cut him off and cut his mic off or anything like that. There was an instance today. If I play one thing from today, there's a caller. And we will find it because I want you guys to hear it so bad, especially you. I want you to hear it so bad. I did time.
Okay.
Oh, right. I forgot we're on the correct one now. But this caller called in, and I was like looking at my boss. I was getting right up on the mic. I was like,
give it to
you gotta give it. And he was like,
pass me the ball.
He was giving me this. He was like, no. You can't respond to him. Oh boy, it's glorious. So we'll get to that here.
Dr. Tetris with a super chat says he does have a dulce accent. Have and said. Yeah. We're from South Carolina. That's what we do. That's who we are.
I won't bash the accent.
Don't you guys see the path JQ created for all imperial powers, military expansion, extra activist wealth, deindustrialization, and devouring inflation?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I was reading it backwards. Yeah. I mean, that's the playbook. It's always the playbook. I mean, it's been played out almost 1,200 times.
We can skip to 139.
130. Boop.
Try that.
Enough.
Infrastructure to accommodate. What if we didn't do that? I mean, what was the? I mean, I don't doubt anything you're saying. You're right. I mean, it was. But because there were so many of us, it required an increase in infrastructure. But what was the alternative to that?
So
this is Jim's call. It's a little. You can fast forward a little or rewind a little bit if you want.
Okay, he's responding to Jim's call.
Yes, this is Jim's call. That might be
a lot.
You guessed it. They covered the spread. They lost by 7.
Oh yeah, dude starts talking about
Sports is furious.
They're in the middle of like politics talk. This guy calls in, starts ranting about the Raiders and the NFL is rigged. It's like, one, have some respect, and two, nobody gives a shit, dude.
Which is young foreigners elected Mondami. Yeah.
All right,
this talk about
go back
the
one more
young women aspect.
What is more transformative than
what
that?
Zeb said is true, but it's not Jim.
Oh, it's not Jim?
No.
Yeah,
the guy you were talking about who just called in and started talking about the Raiders.
Yeah, this is Jim.
Covered the spread. They lost by 7. The owner of Barstool Sports is furious. He actually called for Pete Carroll to be murdered, investigated, or locked up.
Which is young foreigners elected Mondami.
This is the beginning of the call. It's
you
fine.
Can talk about the young white women aspect, but it was such a small percentage that actually voted. But when you look at the foreign-born in New York City, that is not an American city anymore. It has been it's been conquered, and I don't think there's any way to say it. One thing on the economic portion of this debate that I'd like to talk about, but I think it's so much more than economics. But we keep talking about a transfer of wealth. There will be absolutely no transfer of wealth to really speak of, and that's because a boomer who makes it to 65 has a 75% likelihood of making it to 85, so another 20 years, and a 50% likelihood of making it to 90, which means basically that you all are going to use up your retirement savings for healthcare costs, living expenses. We'll probably see reverse mortgages go through the roof. So there won't be a transfer of wealth. And then furthermore,
I'll add to this before he finishes the call. I'll add to this. Not only will they use up their retirement, not only will you start seeing reverse mortgage. What you're going to start seeing is, we're already seeing it, the depletion of the Social Security funds, but it's going to skyrocket through the roof because these people are going to be on it for decades. They're going to be on it for decades, and they just haven't paid in that much. Their entire argument is, I paid into this. That's the entire argument to Social Security. But when you look at the numbers, it just doesn't pan out. They're taking away far more interest, no interest, or make the argument what you want to. They're taking away far more than they have paid in. They're bleeding the system. They're bleeding themselves. They're bleeding the system. They're going to be bleeding the banks here pretty soon. Trump just announced a $12 billion buyout for farmers, a bailout. A $12 billion bailout why are we bailing out farmers, Josh?
We need our pinto beans.
You all will continue to vote for policies that benefit you all financially, such as, taking taxes at the county level and state level from a property tax and then pushing it off on everybody else.
Jim makes a good point here.
There's nothing wrong with getting rid of the property tax, but why are we getting rid of the property tax? Why are we having that debate? Because it's another boomer bailout. But, when it comes to the boomer, I look at it from a cultural standpoint. Even the most conservative baby boomer is a left-wing radical.
So pause it real quick.
Standards.
Jim makes a fantastic point here in a second that we definitely want to hone in on. Did you want to comment on what he just said about how, because I thought that was a great point too. It kind of got overshadowed by this following point about how, because this is something, I think maybe a little bit, but this is something that we talk about all the time on the radio show, is getting rid of the property tax. And Jim rightly points out that the reason the boomers want to get rid of the property tax is
it benefits them.
Because they own all the property.
They want to get rid of the property tax, but not Social Security.
Property taxes on your non-primary household are insanely high.
Yes.
But they own multiple homes, so they're paying all these taxes. Isn't it ridiculous that I have to pay all these taxes for just houses? What's the big deal, man?
They're so Jewy, dude.
That's absurd. That's absurd. I mean, you said every...
That's absurd. This is in response to him calling him a radical leftist of the 1920s.
I don't know if how far we can rewind it, but yeah, he basically said every boomer is a liberal by 1920 standards.
Yeah, I got it.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Which is young foreigners elected Mondami. You can talk about the
infrastructure to accommodate
which is young foreigners. 1920 standards. You all are uber feminist.
That's absurd. That's absurd. I mean, you said every boomer. That's absurd. You're speaking to a boomer.
He said every boomer is a radical liberal by 1920 standards. He took it personal, chat. He took it personal. This is the thing. You can never take it personal. If you take it personal, you lose. Look at Andrew Wilson, one of the best debaters out there, took it personal, got his face plastered everywhere.
Got beat by a bimbo.
You can't take it you can't do it. Don't do it. Example, Nick last night on Piers Morgan. Don't take it personal. Also, it is just objectively true that they would be leftist by a 1920 standard. We can go through some of that list here in a second. Maybe not radical, but objectively a leftist by 1920 standard. Let's just pick one. 1920 would be the 19th Amendment. 1920. The 19th Amendment was established in 1920. Josh, I wonder what side he would fall on that one. We just go down the list. You want to go down the list? Prohibition, blasphemy laws, blue laws.
You ever imagined?
Fair enough.
I've got more masculinity in the pinky finger. I mean, you're going to make an accusation like that. You said every boomer is a left-wing radical. That's an absurd statement to make, and I'm not going to let you get away with that, Jim.
No, he said by 1920 standards.
Yeah. Okay, so based on 1920 standards. So if we look what conservative boomers, what's one of the hills that you all die on? You die on this hill of boys and girls sports, right? But we had a wave of girls and boys sports for 20 years, and nothing was said. We saw the destruction of the Boy Scouts over the last 30 years. Nothing was said because we allowed girls into those. I mean, how many boomers today that call themselves conservative this Sunday will sit in a pew with a woman in the pulpit? That's not conservative. And so now, look, I think if we're all honest with each other, I think the biggest thing is we all have to recognize that we're all just we are all just products of our time, right? And we can't necessarily escape that. You know, the one thing that boomers had in particular was you all were such a huge generation. Everything was designed for you all because you were so big. From the whole culture was designed around you all. I think we had to build something like 20% more elementary schools as you all came on the scene. And so
but what was the alternative, Jim? I mean, if we had an explosion of population that required infrastructure to accommodate
this,
what if we didn't do that? I mean, what was the? I mean, I don't doubt anything you're saying. You're right.
The tactic.
I mean,
this is something I say is it's like even I fall into this trap sometimes because it's so easy to do. Because it's easy to use illustrations to kind of convey a point, but this gives most, and he's a good debater. It gives them an out because then they can hone in on that. And really not address what he's actually getting at. He's not complaining that they had to make more schools to accommodate the boomers. The point is that the boomers were accommodated so much that they are spoiled. And it's like, well, what were they supposed to do? It's not about of course they should have made the elementary schools, but the problem is he's addressing the cause of the boomer mindset.
Yeah, I think, he established a second ago that we are products of our time, and that this is just a within the same context window, but they don't take it like that.
But because there were so many of us, it required an increase in infrastructure. But what was the alternative to that?
Well, I'd like to go back and look at the stats to see how many children per baby boomer were born. Baby boomer woman were born. I need to look that up, and because I'm sure it obviously wasn't to the level of your parents, because once you create this big generation, you have to at very minimum replace it, if not grow it, because what we're running into now, and which is why we have the illegal immigration and quote unquote legal immigration now, is because think about it, there's not going to be anybody left once you all finally retire, there's not going to be anybody left to just maintain the system. Who's going to maintain these rural water systems? There's nobody left, and they were built for a population 2 times the size of what they are.
This is where I thought it kind of.
I don't disagree with that. I mean, I think that is a problem. I mean, the population explosion of the boomer era, we had to build infrastructure to accommodate, and we're seeing a declining in population. People are having far less children than we did or my parents did.
We're not seeing a decline in population. We're seeing a decline in American population. But the growth of the population is far outweighing the growth of the baby boomer generation. It's just demographically different. Is there anything else? Oh, he goes on. I want to touch on the 1920 position again. Let's just Google 1920s like populist positions. Maybe Google Gemini will give me some answers. Let's give me the actual party. Economic reform, government ownership regulation, nationalized railroads, telegraphs, natural resources.
Is there a reason it's not playing now?
Where you at? Smash it. It was at least the first half of it was blank. You might need to go to the actual timestamp.
46:18.
When you come out of school, get into the workforce, you want more than you can have, and you try to build whatever you get over the course of a long work life. So I am much more interested in what is causing the hopelessness that's not economic.
Okay. Josh, you care to jump in?
I mean, it's everything. It's the genuine uncertainty of the
future. You want to preface it?
I was just going to say, maybe not the best example, because I actually think this was a good opportunity. This ended up being kind of a go-off moment. But as harsh as it could be for it being my job, but I did love that, where it was like, other than economics, other than the problem, what's the problem?
Is that what he said?
He was like, other than economics, what is all this turmoil you're upset about?
Well, that's just what it boils down to. It's like, okay, how do we live life? Well, we facilitate life through currency. It's just, I make things, I trade things. That's just the vehicle that we're in. Josh, why are you mad that your vehicle's broken? Why are you mad that you don't have gas in the economic vehicle that you've been given? What do you mean?
And the possibility of the things that I might have to deal with, that my potential children might have to deal with, and their children almost certainly will deal with.
Give me an example. Give me an example of something non-economic.
The more these ambitious
100 million non-Americans,
third world immigrants come in here and take over power, the more they will redirect things in their favor. And
I don't disagree.
And the fact of the matter is, if you look at it, it's like, oh, it's just, well, they'll be in charge instead of us. They can't handle it. They're not capable of running America as it has been run. If they were, they would have made their own country that way. It is impossible, and you're seeing it. You see it. They get in Minnesota, and they're ruining it. These Somalians they're ruining Minnesota, and it took less than a generation for them to do it. But they're voting in favor of themselves because they have an in-group preference. And what's going to happen to my grandchildren when Indians or Chinese or whoever else is in charge? And then it's going to be vengeful people that are taking out their grievance on my descendants, putting the blame at their feet when it is their fault. And that is a very real possibility that the boomers won't contend with, because they will die on the hill of civil rights, where everyone is born, they're just a blank slate, and the only difference between outcome is education and upbringing and how much you eat when you're a baby. It's more than that. We all know it's more than that. And the fact of the matter is it's that's a level of uncertainty, but again, also economic. It's like, well, what are we concerned about besides economics?
That part where I said
that's a good.
It's more than that. We know it's more than that. Ken was looking at Dave like should we cut him off? Because you know what I'm implying.
Yeah,
and they know what I'm implying.
Well, everybody knows.
Yeah,
it's not something that you just don't know. It's like you might not study the data, but you've walked around. You've been to Walmart. You've been to Walmart. You know. You drove down the road one day.
We know. So before we wrap up there's one. I wanted to end it on kind of a more fun note.
We'll do this, and then we'll go to calls. And if you want to call in, call in.
Dang, we've been going long.
To a large share, the boomers' financial statements today. And so I think there's a two-pronged argument here. Did the boomer work hard? Yeah. Did they take advantage of that opportunity? Yeah. Has it been propped up by government spending for the last 20 years? Absolutely it has. In particular, since 2008. In particular, for the last 17 years. Let's go to the phone.
William.
All right. So that whole thing, I mean, like, it matters, but like, that's not why I isolated this. All of what you have heard, think about all the things we've played on the show for you today from this show. Think about all that. Think about the things that you've heard me say on this radio show. And Zeb even said it, that I'm too easy on them. I try to be as cordial. I try to be as, what's the word I'm looking for? I try to explain it as well as I can. Try to convey the grievances of the Zoomers to the boomers as best I can. And this is the reaction.
McCall. Good morning, William.
Good morning, Dave. Ken, you kind of hit the nail on the head there when you're talking about these young people, man. They've been raised in a give me. Don't get out and work for it. They've been raised in an atmosphere of give me, and don't have to get out and work for it. The parents just give it to them. Oh, baby, you all right. I give it to you. Nah, get your ass out and work. Do chores around the house. Do yard work. Oh, no, you ain't got to do that, baby. We hire it out. We'll get somebody to come in and rake the yards and do all that. That's what's wrong with our economy right now, because these young people will not work. You got all these illegals that's been deported. What about all the jobs they had? Why ain't they being filled? That's why they counting the jobs, unemployment so high, is because they counting all these illegals that had jobs that left these jobs. Now, when is the American people going to start waking up and make their youngins assume some responsibility?
Thank you, William. Appreciate it. 843-661-0937. I think William would fall to the category of a boomer who thinks that.
This is the point of us playing this, is to show you the common mind of what is actually going on right now. These are the people that vote. You're just entitled because you don't work hard. They've been given everything. You've been given everything. No, you gave all of our things away. That's what you did. You gave it away. What deportations? What deportations are you even talking about? We got a couple deportations in Charlotte and a couple in Chicago. What deportations? The only place that has deportations is having an amazing turnaround right now with white-owned businesses or American-owned businesses actually getting calls in the trade work. What deportations? And that's just in the last 2 months. These people are so dense, they don't pay attention. This is the entitlement. To blame everybody else for the ills that they see today. They just weren't raised right. They were raised in gimme. Even on its face, if I accept your argument, who did the raising? William.
And something that is not conveyed because we are cutting this up. You're not listening to the show in its entirety. I have been taught, this is like later on. I've been talking on the show all day. This guy's a semi-regular caller. Clearly is contemptuous. Says good morning to Ken and to Dave. Does not say good morning to me. And then when he gets on the phone, when he gets on the tirade, he says, his example of young people being lazy is that we hire landscapers and cleaners to clean our houses instead of us. What's the 10-to-1 on the people hiring landscapers and cleaners being under the age of 35? Where are the if you're a cleaner and if you're a landscaper, call in and tell us who your clients are. Because last time I checked, people under the age of 35 don't own property. He didn't even give examples that might be real, like, still stupid, but that we go on more vacations or something like that. It's It is, they are programmed. Do not, I argue with these people because it's just what I do in the day. You know, it's my day job. The boomers, they're not people. Their minds are basically stone. Just let them wander off. And as people have been saying in chat all day, when is the day of the pillow coming?
I mean, there's so much here, man. There's so much here. I also want to note that this entire framework is built around specifically white American men. This entire framework is built around white American men. The white American boomer and the white American Gen Z younger generation. That's what this entire framework is built. Disregard all of the people that we are propping up working this 80-hour week. Disregard all of this 50% north of probably 65% of what we're being taxed while people sit on their front porch and just collect EBT. Disregard all the government funding to people that are non-Americans in Somaliland, Minnesota. Disregard all of the funding that we fund to build hotels for Indians as they come in on H-1Bs. Disregard all of that. Let's just focus on this one little aspect that the boomer can bash on the younger generation, specifically their posterity, and just let everybody else go. Everybody else can just, you're entitled, Josh. You're entitled. Not the Somali that we let in. You're entitled, Josh. Not the Mexican that's been here, that brought his family over, and the ones that didn't bring their family over, send them all their money back in remittances. So we're just leaking funds. You're entitled, Josh. Not the Ellis Islanders. You're entitled, Josh. Not the Hart-Celler Act influx. You're entitled, Josh. Not the sub-Saharans that come over and mooch off the system. You're entitled, Josh. You, white man that's been born here, that has family here for what, 6 generations? You're entitled, and you need to give everything that is owed to you, that is your inheritance. Maybe you could say owed, not owed. I don't care. Play semantics. That was built for you by your ancestors. You're entitled because you don't want to give it to the people that just got here. You're entitled because you don't want to give it to the people that's going to squander it in this first place. What was the debate that Piers Morgan had? That he basically argued for. He said, "I'm glad Europe and London is becoming the third world because I get curry soup." It's like, dude, you're literally making Esau's argument. You'll trade the entire world, the entire Western world, for a bowl of freaking soup?
It's not good, by the way. You ever tried Indian food?
No.
Me neither. You know why? Because it smells bad. And if it smells that bad, there's no way it tastes good. And
that's because you're entitled, Josh. That's because you're entitled. See, if you weren't as entitled, you would appreciate good cuisine. You know, if you weren't entitled, Josh, you would appreciate the tacos on the corner. You would just accept the tacos on the corner.
Zeb. Don't be greedy. This is why you can't buy a house, Zeb, because you eat out too much.
Oh.
You eat too much Indian soup. That's why we're selling the country to the Indians so we can have good soup, which you can't have anyway. And here's the thing. This is like, I wouldn't have asked him this on the air because it would have gotten me in trouble, but I wanted to ask William so bad. William, when you picture a lazy kid in America, what color are they? Because I guarantee he's thinking of a white person.
That's the entire
I guarantee
framework.
He's thinking of his own family.
That's exactly what he's thinking about, because when we say American, we know what we mean. Because if we are meaning something else, we say something else. Because Americans are white.
And this is what it is. You know what it is? All of the people that call into this radio show, This is a very communal town. Like, a lot of people know each other. A lot of like the kind of higher up business people know each other by name. I've met people that, you know, like I said, oh, I do a podcast with a guy named Zeb. And they're like, oh, ZebBoykin. Like, that people just know each other around here. All of the people that call in this show, they're involved in the trades, you know, kind of loosely or indirectly. And all of the contractors, just really all over the country, are white for the most part. Older white men.
Most GCs are white, yes.
Older white men.
Well, because
what do they do?
You have to take an IQ test to get your license to be a GC.
Well, there you go. But what do they see? They hire illegals, and they see the illegals working hard for basically slave wages. And they say to themselves, why can't my good-for-nothing kids do that? Yet, like, slavery is America's greatest sin. Slavery is the worst thing that ever happened. They look at a standard of living that they themselves would not accept and try to enforce it on their children. It's what it is. And then they rationalize it by saying that, well, when I was young, we had 3 television channels and we had to crank our car windows.
No, to Josh's point is...
It's insulting. And it's ridiculous because we see the Indians taking over. We see the Vivek Ramaswamis. We see the Palantirs, the what's his name? Elon Musk's taking over our country and selling it away from us. And then we start talking about it. We start discussing this. We start to have conversations about how can we fix this? What can we do? And then from behind us, our own families are ankle biting and getting on our case and explaining why it's a good thing. Because, whoa, that's racist. Whoa. Are you saying that the government should seize assets or something? Are you saying that we shouldn't allow businesses to make as much money as they want? These people are retarded. And it's very concerning. I know I'm probably getting a little long in it, but it's upsetting to me to see how much I get. Like, at least I can understand why the Indians hate us. I can understand why the blacks hate us. Doesn't make it right. I don't like it, but I understand it. Your own grandparents, what's the opposite of posterity? Our ancestors, our own kin hate you just as much. I'm done.
I want to hone in on the point that you made, that they want to enforce a standard on us that they themselves wouldn't accept. I think that's a good point that you made. And to expound on that is specifically we're talking about GCs and subcontractors beyond that, where they're employing illegals. Why do they employ these illegals through subcontracting from GCs? Is because, well, they are the lowest bidder. Why are they the lowest bidder? Well, one, they're not on the books, so they don't have to pay them as much. 2, they all live in the same house. There's 50 of them to a house, and there's 12 to a car. Not a Tahoe. A little Civic, 12 to a Civic. This is how they are able to outbid you, take in the money, live off of bare minimum, and send it back home. It's exhausting. The standard that they set for you, they would not allow for themselves to have that same standard. But it's okay, Josh, because it's just a different time and you just need to work harder, man. I know the bootstraps that you need to pull yourself up with, I took away from you long ago, but you really just need to pull yourself up with the bootstraps, dude. I know I was given a jetpack. I know I was given a fucking jetpack back in 1980s, a hoverboard and a jetpack. When Back to the Future came out, I got my little jetpack on and my hoverboard, and I just flew off into the sunset. But you, pull yourself up by your bootstraps. Oh, whoopsie daisy, I forgot to give you your boots. Maybe you can inherit it when I die. You should be on.
Make your own boots, Zeb.
Make your own boots.
You got to start. You got to make your own bootstraps.
Make your own boots.
Then pull yourself up by them.
What? You want to make your own boots? You want the leather? Go kill your own cow. Make your own lever. You know what? You don't get a free cow. You got to start from the beginning, but you got to have money to feed the cow, to buy the cow and feed it, to make it to grow up, to have the leather.
We're gonna give the family cow to a kid we adopted from Ethiopia.
We're gonna you've already raised it. Now you got to go find yourself another cow and feed it.
Whoa! What would Jesus do, man?
And by the time you get to your second cow and it grows up, you've already been taken over by Hindus that worship and you can't kill it anymore. So now you really don't have any boots. I mean, these are the complexities that we're dealing with here. And they're like, economy. You sound entitled.
And this was said off the air. But when Jim brought up how they're living to be their 80s, the conversation off the air was like it was in jest, but it was like, oh, y'all want us to die. And it's like,
we want you to hand over the keys.
Wouldn't we at this point? And it's like, I don't want, look, I don't want people to die, obviously, but it's like,
so true. So true.
Should anyone in the age of 70 be getting chemotherapy? I mean,
listen, dude, I've already told my wife and everybody else, if I get to like 65, 70, 75, and I am moving slow, like noticeably slow, I'm not saying kill me, but I'm going to have a DNR and just kind of leave me be.
Give me a little one of those inflatable tubes and push me in the gator lake. Push me out in Lake Marion.
I know where I'm going, and it's not with Cash Patel to Valhalla. Okay, I'll be okay. I'll be okay when I get there. You can mourn me for a week. If I'm 70 years old, I promise you, I've already done my life. I've done my life. It's over. Let's move on down the road.
They talk
about. I'm not entitled. I'm not entitled, Josh. But that's the point, though. They're entitled not only to the stuff, the funds, the socialist systems that they've set up over time to only benefit them, but they're entitled to life and live into eternity. Everyone is Brian Johnson. All the boomer. Brian Johnson is boomer embodied. That's what they are, dude. If all of the boomers had Brian Johnson's money, they would be doing the exact same thing. They are entitled to eternal life.
Frustrating.
Chat.
Do we want to do call-ins?
Let's try it. Let's try it. We're gonna do call-ins. Do we go to members only?
Nah, let's see how we do.
Somebody, you better call in.
Yeah.
Let me find my Zoom button. That's the wrong one. Is that the right one? Yes. All right, I'm posting this in chat.
How's it go? W's in the shot. W's in the shot.
That's not. Yeah, we're lazy. That's definitely it. If you just go back to lifting weights, you won't move slow over 65. The best way to prevent muscle wastage later is build muscle now. Yeah, I'm good, dude.
I was going to say, you haven't worked out in like a year and you look pretty.
Ooh, did I do a boo-boo?
Uh-oh. What'd you do?
I can fix it. Fixed. All right. No, I mean, I'll get back to working out pretty soon. But, I mean, really, if you want to, dude, when you get like 50, 55 and you start going downhill, just jump on some TRT and coast it out. That's what all the animal studies say. That's what all the trial studies say in humans. Just go. I mean, you hit that age, you can't build muscle anymore, which is kind of what he was getting at.
What age?
50, 55. Really after 30, but you probably don't need to be taking it that early. Jump on it and just coast it out, dude. Coast it out. Click the link. Also, like the stream. Become a member. What else? Send us money. Send super chats.
Money.
Send super chats. We'll employ Josh full time under Nav, and then you'll have lots of content. And also, over on my channel too. Sidebar on my channel. I will hit the ground running pretty hard, probably first of the year. I'm trying to line everything up for that. Also Thursday, I have a big stream, noon on my channel Thursday with Noel and Mel, the crazy village lady on Twitter. We're going to be talking about Epstein, Candace, probably Tim Pool, all this stuff. We didn't really talk about that much today, did we? We were boomer bashing, man. We were boomer bashing pretty good.
Everybody
wants to call in. Nobody wants to call in.
We like bashing up boomers. And the callers, you little, well, granted, we kind of flirted with it, but I don't think anyone said they wanted to.
All right. No callers today. Time's up. Anyway.
Cowards.
Josh, do you want to close us out? What else do we have? Factions tomorrow, this channel, 3 o'clock. I don't think I have anything else specifically right now.
Then we got to get more debates going on.
I know.
You and me. Whatever happened to the evolution one? I thought I was going to debate Jim Bob or something.
I could never get up with him.
Connect with him?
Yeah, I could never get up with him. I'll try again.
Well, so we got factions tomorrow. We have Real Talk airing Thursday, where me, John Ward, and Jack, aka KinoFlex, talk about movies based on historical accuracy. We talk about Gladiator and recommend a few others. I was kind of surprised at everyone's take on Gladiator, especially John's. But,
really?
Go check it out.
Gladiator is goated. Top 10?
Top 10, really. I get why you would say that.
Gladiator?
Yeah.
Here's how I rate movies.
Okay.
Can I watch it again?
Okay, yeah. Totally fair, by the way. So,
can I watch it again? Top 10.
Now, here's the thing. This is what I've said this on the stream on the Real Talk before, but there's such a thing, which we all know, as pretentious movie fags. And it's these like cinema snobs, these guys that really like get off on just like crappy movies. And I was like, that's why I like Real Talk, because for the most part, we just like normal movies, like normal people. But this one might come off a little cinema snobby, if that's your take. Because I like Gladiator. I'm not bashing Gladiator. I like it. It's a little overrated.
JR says, Zeb and Josh, can you do a show on pole shifting and CMEs? We don't really do conspiracy shows much anymore. I mean, we didn't really to begin with, because Josh don't believe in conspiracies theories.
I believe in real ones.
Josh doesn't even believe in chemtrails. Josh just like
I believe
half
in
the game board.
I believe in kin trails. Me trailing Kin's coattails. I've moved beyond chemtrails into the real ones, like 9/11. To me, chemtrails. You know what it is like? It's like the because I believe they're poisoning us, but chemtrails are the holographic airplanes of that conspiracy theory to me. Does that make sense? Does that kind of put it into a better context?
Yeah.
Where it's like 9/11, Jews did 9/11, but they didn't use holograms.
I got a conspiracy guy. I don't know if he's still down to come on. He was a while back, but that would be fun. I'll reach out to him, see if he's got time.
Whatever happened with Ashton Forbes? We're not getting Forbes on. I don't
know if I blocked him or he blocked me or something happened. He went like cuckoo crazy after. I don't know. He started going off on people about Jews or something. I don't remember exactly what happened, but I had to block him, dude. Or he blocked me. I can't even remember what happened.
I remember the Charlie Kirk thing kind of set off a dispute.
Tig Welder. First of all, thank you for joining the stream. He said he found us on Compound Censored. Thank you, sir. I guess I'll grab the first one first. Hey guys, new to your show via Zeb on Compound Censored. Thanks for all you do. Do you find a little encouragement seeing this topic being a bit more mainstream? Fuentes ducking on Pierce. Yeah, obviously. And I've stated this before. I know my position on Fuentes is kind of against the norm right now. Just because I just happen to be right months ahead of everyone else. but I've stated this before many times over. he is a necessary, whether it's him or someone else, it is a necessary in our movement, just because you have to have numbers to win. And it just is what it is. But is anything going to change? Foreign war distractions incoming. Is anything going to change? If I would answer no to that, I wouldn't be doing this. And then foreign war distractions incoming. Well, TPUSA is now advocating for a war in Iran. Just, tossing that out there, given that Charlie was advocating against war with Iran before he got, killed. And, that's just a coincidence, just coincidence, right?
Little dispute in the home life between the Mr. and Mrs. apparently.
Oh, apparently. Maybe. Josh, don't get me in trouble, dude. Valhalla VFT, heavy duty country, just made videos talking about how they think Nick might be a Fed. Nick's downfall is months away. No. If that was the case, then everyone me and Atlas listed yesterday would not be where they are. I do think Nick is a Fed, and maybe I'll do a video on that one day. But I guarantee you what they did, and I haven't watched the video. I not like Valhalla. I haven't seen any of Heavy Duty's stuff. I've seen a little bit of Valhalla VFT stuff. Basically, what they did is probably just pulled my tweets about Nick being a Fed. This is easy stuff, man. Honestly, it is, and I don't know. Well, I do know why. I do know why Josh and Atlas are still on the Nick train. It's a cult. It's a cult. Blind. Everybody's running around. Dude, I need to get me some little some little tanning bed goggles. And I'm gonna just make Josh. Anytime we talk about Nick, I'm gonna make Josh wear a little tanning bed goggles.
Like the horse blinders or whatever.
Josh needs a welding mask. When we talk about Nick, that's what all the groypers, when we talk about Nick, that's what they're wearing. It just is what it is, man. You can't take it personal. If you take it personal,
I will
you
not
lose.
accept any low IQ anti-Nickism on this show.
No
retarded conspiracy theories from a black lady. Zeb, what are you doing?
Sorry, let me
Zeb, what are you doing? You're taking advice from a black lady now. What's going on?
Dude, I can't help if someone aligns
think
with me.
Ian,
I was there first. I started.
Ian Carroll is the mediator between you and Candace because he has a mustache. That's how it's trickled down niggonomics from Candace to a guy with a mustache to another guy with a mustache and a beard.
For the record.
Oh.
Whoa.
Dixie. I don't know the first. I'm not even going to attempt the first part, but
let me go to 3-man. Do you want to be on screen? I guess is a question.
He's muted.
How do I unmute him?
I
gotta drag him. Boom. What's up, brother?
Hello.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes, sir.
Turn our stream off.
Hey, how you guys doing, buddy?
Good, dude. What's up? Thanks for the you want to be on screen or not?
No, you can put me on screen. It's fine.
Okay. Boom. What's up, dude? First of all, thanks for the gifted for Nav. We appreciate it.
Yeah, man. I like watching you guys grow. I have the windbreaker somewhere, but I already ripped a hole in it.
Oh no. Are they cheap? Oh no.
Oh, they're not cheap. They're just I'm probably too girthy for the size that I bought.
Fair enough.
Yeah, man. Hey, a quick question. You were in the Marines, right?
Yes, sir.
I want to tell you a quick story, okay?
Go for it.
So I joined the Army in 2004. I deployed to Iraq in 2005 and 2006. And I got back from Iraq and I started browsing 4chan poll pretty seriously and getting woke on the JQ. And that led to me telling the Army to go fuck themselves in 2008. And I went AWOL for 12 years. I turned myself back in 2016. I got court-martialed. And I need to look at my paperwork. I have my court documents, but during my hearing, I said that I didn't want to go fight for the sake of Jews, and they gave me 72 days in Fort Leavenworth.
Nice, dude. 12 years is a long time. What
Yeah.
Dang,
Well,
how much time
I
did you
have found you, and I'm coming for you.
How much time did you have left when you AWOL?
So I was supposed to have a 6-year contract, and I ended up doing 4 and some change. So it was like less than 24 months on my first enlistment.
Dang, dude.
Somewhere in this house, I have the paperwork. I'll screenshot it and put it in the Discord.
I'm assuming, was 11 Bravo, 18 Bravo, 11 Bravo?
No, I was a 15 Juliet, which is a aviator.
Okay.
Yeah, I was in the 101st.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Now I work for these guys.
Do you, dude?
Yeah, I work for Lockheed Martin.
You making the flying saucers or?
No, I work on like machine tools, so I don't really see anything super secret. A lot of F-35 stuff, but that's not super classified, and it's mostly just like control surfaces for the wings and shit. But
nice. Yeah, I saw your comment earlier where you were located at, so I ain't gonna dox you too much on here. But
I mean, you can. I don't care. They can fuck themselves. I know they're
he's not
watching
that far
me
away,
anyway.
dude.
He doesn't sound that far away.
He's from your place. Your neck of the woods.
I live in Charlotte.
He's that close, huh? Oh, Charlotte.
Yeah, I'm from Greenville though.
Greenville's nice, dude. We need to move back upstate.
Yeah, and I agree. You still are working for the Jews at Lockheed.
Yeah, I know you.
I can
You
see the
traded
chat on
one
the
Jewish
TV.
master for another.
Yeah, I see it on the TV.
Anything? I guess anything specific from today's show or just in general?
I mean, I agree that the boomers have sold out our generation, and particularly white people, to import the third world to increase their greed. The boomers, the old people of this day and age don't plant trees that they will never appreciate the shade of, so to speak.
100%, dude.
Yeah, I definitely prefer
unless
to
it's
live
a
in
money
white
tree.
majority. So good luck to you guys. This is your country. I'm just visiting.
How old did you say you were?
I'm 39.
Okay, you got a few years on me.
Yeah, I got a few years on you guys.
All right,
anyway,
brother.
Keep up the good work. I'm gonna go do some other shit. It's good to hear from you guys.
Thanks for calling, buddy.
Yeah, thank you for calling in, dude.
Yeah, man. Take it easy.
Yes, sir. Yeah, unless it's a money tree, dude, they'll plant the money. They'll plant the money trees. But no, definitely thank you for calling in. What was that Win Dixie?
Was that him?
Yeah.
Is it NYGUN?
It's like Chinese.
Okay, I got
you. Some kind of Asian.
Ching chong
wing.
Ching chong. Ying gong 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 gong. Wow.
Angry Irish Peasant says, full-on boomer maxing, case closed. Yeah, boomer maxing. Blame everyone else. Blame everyone else for being entitled. Gasser wanted this read off. What is your stance on incentives for migration from Europe, Boers, Germany, Italian, Polish communities from southern Brazil and Argentina? Poles, no. No, Poles don't come. Poles can't come. Poles are...
No Polacks.
No Poles. No Poles. Sorry. The Poles act, they're indistinguishable from blacks in action. That might be a bit harsh, but it's not. It might sound harsh, but it's not. That being said, just in general, he's saying Polish communities from southern Brazil and Argentina. What's my stance on incentives?
I'm okay with the Boers coming here, but I feel like the Europeans
I don't think I am,
should fix their own stuff.
Like if I'm thinking about ideal here, I'm pro colonization. I'm pro conquering. I'm pro American empire. And so because of that, I don't think they need to come here. I think we need to liberate them and allow them the law of the land that they used to have, the ability to do what they used to do in their own land. That is their land. It's like if I was here in South Carolina and we were just completely overrun from the South, would I want to just go to Europe or go to Australia? I mean, just because I'm white? I mean, I guess as an absolute last resort, but at the end of the day, this is still home. And I think that is their home, and they should fight for it, and we should assist them in doing that. I guess maybe that answers the question on incentives. I mean, this is all ideal world too. So, you agree, Josh, or no?
No, I get the argument. Bring back apartheid. Is Nelson Mandela alive? For now,
I have no idea. Is he? Moon says,
evil bastard. He's going to hell unless he repents.
If they're asking for assistance or reparations, tell them to just FOIA it. Yes, just FOIA it. I saw something the other day. Somebody was telling somebody else to FOIA something on Twitter. It's like, you're not gonna get anything. What do you think? What do you think is gonna happen? They're just gonna, oh, I guess he asked for it. Let me just give it. Let me just give it to him.
Case in point, where are those Epstein files?
Where are the
Congress
Epstein
demands? Oh, we have to make sure that no top secret information accidentally gets leaked. It would be national security. It would be a national security emergency if all of our politicians were ousted as pedophiles.
Isn't that the problem, though? Isn't that the problem?
Zeb, how will I keep my job if I become a pedophile?
JR says we need someone to lead the restoration who has an axe to grind and a single-minded purpose and won't shrink from what needs to be done. I agree. Moderates are a problem. Unnecessary de-escalation is a problem.
Yes. Looking at you, Donald.
Get Josh's little goggles.
Oh yeah, that'll pan out. Donald Trump became racist Thursday.
Donald, it's not anything new. I mean, there's a tweet floating around from 2013 of Donald Trump. It's like the guy knows it's not. None of this is new. He knows. They just nobody wants to do anything about it. They're all spineless. I believe that's it. Is that it for the day, Josh?
I think so. We've been going 3 hours, dude.
Chat. First of all, thank you for sticking around. Go ahead and like the stream if you haven't. We're at 90 likes. Can we get to 100 before we close out stream? I appreciate you for being here. Josh was a little late, a couple minutes, but I think we made it up.
We made up for it. We did it just for ya.
But no, shout out to Win Dixie on the super chat or the memberships. LM swag. What are we talking about here? I'm missing it.
The boys.
Go ahead, send us money, super chat, super thanks, memberships, merch link in the bio. Also link to mine and Josh's YouTube in the description. Find us on X. Also, all of the things. This is Outside the Overton. We cover all of the Overton things. Is it moving? Is it not moving? I guess one of the things that we didn't cover today really was Nick Fuentes on Pierce Morgan, but that will be covered Saturday evening on the Groper Report at 8 o'clock. Saturday on NAV, 8 o'clock. Also, tomorrow, 3 o'clock is Factions. And then Real Talk at 3 o'clock Thursday. So, appreciate you for being here. This is Outside the Overton. I'm ZebBoykin.
I'm Joshua Vandernoord, and we will catch you guys next week.
first.
When you hear these leaders are very sick.
Good evening, everyone. I'm This tragedy strikes the LAPD. The coronavirus has taken the life of an officer. He had been fighting for his life since May. He was live outside St. John's Hospital in Santa Monica where the officer lost his life.
From this day forward, a new vision will govern our land. From this day forward, it's going to be America first. America first. And only America first.
And I say, really, you know what I am? I'm a nationalist, okay? I'm a nationalist.